so shut up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat,
looking
I
at
don't
the
know, my
youngest
rap, my
and
blood
fastest
boils
rising
over
star
like,
in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you had shut the fuck up real bad.
Shut up.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Hail the Ring Wrestling Rumors, Notes, Debates with myself here, and of course, the Michelin Star Chef Dan. Salute to everyone from the P.U.W.F. Squad, our partners there in the wrestling talk. Chef, what's going on, man? How are you, pal?
Doing good, you know. A little bit frustrated, but then certain things happened and cleared it for the guy. So I'm good now.
Yeah, well, we're finishing here. We're a couple hours away or a couple days before we ring in the new year in 2024, a wonderful year in the world of wrestling. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of different things in the world of wrestling today. We had a good debate with the guys with Terrence, with P.U.W.F. as well. Now today we're going to have more news and new rumors came out. We're going to address the news of all the rumors and give us our opinions, our thoughts. But I wanted to give you thoughts before we get in all the meats and potatoes. Give me your summary of in a quick 2023. I know we don't have enough, and I know it could take a while, and take your time with it. 2023 in the world of wrestling with WWE, NXT. What are your memorable moments that you stand out that you continue to remember since you were working yesterday, and we really wanted to get your thoughts?
It's so much that I'd have to like. I mean, it feels like you put me on the spot, but it feels like there was a. I mean, off the rip is two events that just it embedded in my mind. It's Backlash, Puerto Rico, and NXT No Mercy.
Oh, yeah, we mentioned that a lot too. We were talking about that yesterday. Yeah, those matches that we broke it. We broke them all down with the timeline. I mean, we were very slow pace with it because we really gave it that essence. But yeah, though, I mean, you picked some one. You weren't here, and it felt like you were here because we settlement. We were right there with you on that.
Like those two are the apexes of the apexes in forms of like. It was sports. It was entertainment. It was storyline. It was pure wrestling. There was everything you wanted down to just the feel and the emotion. And it's not even to take away from like other great events, i.e. Survivor Series, where we saw the return of CM Punk. Look in my eyes. What do you see? Paul Levesque has hired me. I mean, like these things are. It was like there's been amazing events. NXT Deadline was also an amazing event. There were so many amazing events. Crown Jewel. There's so many to just list off your head, but everything was just really, really good in what they were able to present themselves. But I think those two events for me really in Backlash and No Mercy, the apex of the apex inability to tell story while entertaining, keeping us on the edge of our seat, and gave us everything. I'm just not remembering those because those were the happiest events, but those were the most emotion-filled events where every moment was like, wow, and just, oh my gosh. And like, I can't even harken back to a lot of the spots, but now as I'm talking about it, I can remember so many events and just every single person. And this is it feels like we're about to round off into another version of the Attitude Era again, because every single person is competing for that top spot and giving themselves a reason every night to say, hey, I deserve to be in the top spot. And there can only be but so many. And we're lucky that we're not, we're not hearing about it right now. And maybe because that's not the culture, but we're not seeing anyone do anything malicious to anyone to get that top spot from anyone. Everyone feels to just be working purely on the skill set that they have, and they're trying to achieve something that they've seen other people achieve before. And it's not going to be to the effect of the uber great ones, the ones that are on the Mount Rushmore. But this is what sets up for you to build your own Mount Rushmore, to build your own era. Because it's going like Cody Rhodes has alluded to it a lot in the post event, in the PLE post interviews, where he says, this is a different era we are in, and we don't really have a name for it yet because there are so many stars. No one person is sticking out to claim fame to this era, even though we have someone like a Roman Reigns who has a dominant reign right now. Like, he's doing great work, but then also when you look at it, like, there's also a reason, like, everyone has built their case for them to be a name for this era, is essentially what I'm trying to get at. So when you look at it from that vantage point, there is a fertile field of competition being displayed right there that makes everyone want to step up their game, and that's what helps push the company to heights unknown.
Absolutely. Well said there. And of course, a lot of great moments in 2023. We still have one more pay per view, which is going to be for All Elite Wrestling, World's End, from Nassau Coliseum, from Veterans Memorial, from the Slinky, they call it. That's their final card. And earlier today, one of the rumors that came out that was circulating very strongly was Maxwell Jacob Freeman, the current All Elite Wrestling champion, put out a kind of a not a goodbye, not I'm staying, but in a weird don't crap on the company to the players tribute. Now, when a lot of people take out a paper or time in the players tribute, usually tells you that they're moving on, thanking for their time with the organization or the club at that time. I am not saying that Max is leaving All Elite Wrestling. I still gonna stick by my guns that I think he resigned with All Elite Wrestling, where people think he has, but he's playing it where if he's doing it, because he is astute of the game of the history. Watching the Roddy Piper promos, watching other wrestlers promos, getting it, knowing how to cut the promo and get him sinking people, living the kayfabe outside of wrestling, being the so called, excuse me for the language, the scumbag of wrestling, a persona outside of it. And if he wants to say, "Don't crap where I'm currently working at," I have good memories here. We built something nice, and so forth. It kind of also gives me now that before I was leaning 75-25%, he was with re-sign. Now it's scaling back, in my opinion. I'm thinking Max now, I'm going 55-45 that he re-signed. Because here's another thing, guys, that are listening to us, and keep the comments coming. We had comments in the basketball program. Please, now is the time for all the wrestling comments. We want you to come and bring it full blast, because we're gonna acknowledge the crowd, acknowledge the chat, acknowledge everybody, because we're gonna answer your questions, your comments, or the rumors, or what you heard, and we'll give you our thoughts. That's what we want. That's why we ask you to come back after, not while we were doing the basketball play-by-play, but now that we're gonna do wrestling, all tables open forum. Please bring it. My point, Chef, was if you look at AEW's posters for upcoming events down the line, all the way to Wembley's big show, no Maxwell Jacob Freeman in none of these posters. You saw Chris Statlander, you seen Timeless Tony Storm, people that are under contract being shown and advertising in these promotional posters. No Maxwell Jacob Freeman. I have a theory. If I had the pencil, if I was part of Tony Khan. But first, what's your thoughts on the Player Tribune? I know you didn't read it either, because I didn't read all of it either. But when a player usually does that, give me your thoughts.
Like you said, when a player usually does that, it's either, it's most of the times a goodbye. Uh, that's that's what happens in the world of sports when you take out an ad for Tribune. It's either a goodbye or you're setting the record straight. Because I remember, um, Kevin Durant had his own Players Tribune where he said goodbye to Oklahoma City. Who else had a Players Tribune?
Derek Jeter announced his retirement.
Derek Jeter. But then there's
CC.
also been Players Tribunes like Eddie Curry. I remember that one. That was very powerful for me personally in learning what he was going through. And Tariq Cohen of the Bears and all the injuries he went through. The only time an athlete is truly taking out a Players Tribune is when they feel like, the narrative has gotten way too out of hand and they need to say something in their own words. And they print it in a way that it's true what they say sometimes. Some certain things are, certain things in print have a permanent feel to it. So when a player states what they state in the Players Tribune, it's kind of like it. That's what they feel. That's what they've said. What's happened is what's happened, and you kind of move on because they've set the record. In regards to Maxwell Jacob Freeman, here's the interesting thing. He can play around like we don't know whether he's part of the company or not. But what I don't know is if the company can go along with that rules. I understand that this is pro wrestling. I understand that you have a story to tell, and that's true. But sometimes what you can do with this is like, especially in regards to AEW, we know that they're not doing the best business-wise. If you're trying to play along with this angle with him that maybe he's not part of the company, then that does affect the company's dollars. And are you willing to take that much of a dip to show that you are with the kayfabe? Because at the end of the day, it's not just about his character. The company isn't about Maxwell Jacob Freeman. AEW is about Darby Allin, Sting, Chris Jericho, Tony Storm, Swerve Strickland, Prince Nana, all these wrestlers. Because even though Maxwell Jacob Freeman is a draw, he does not make the entire show. He can't give you. Maxwell Jacob Freeman can do him well, but he can't do Daniel Garcia. And no matter how much people may clown him or love him, he draws a reaction. So that means Daniel Garcia is part of the show. And that's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So is it like it have to be true at this point. If he's not in any of the posters, that's because if there's one thing the company wouldn't do is they wouldn't bank on him just being there because they have his word and they don't have it in contract. If they don't have it in contract, they're not going to print his image because it's going to become a whole liability thing. So at that point, I would have to believe that he is not re-signed.
I agree with you. I could agree with you at that point. I'm going to read a little bit of Max's. He says, "I have something to say. Please read." That's how it's the title from the Player Tribune. I don't usually do stuff like this, but I have. He's going to say the expletive crap to get off my chest. I'm wrestling Samoa Joe for the world title on Saturday night. I have no idea what's going to happen after that. You'll probably hear some stories about me over the few days, about my contract, about my injuries, and what I've been dealing with and the condition of my body is in. But who knows what else? I'm sure it's gonna leak out, and that is fine. He says, but AEW turns 5 years on Monday. The first of January 2024, and effing means something to me. And since everything beyond Saturday feels uncertain, I just want to share my thoughts with it now. I want our fans to hear this from me, whatever comes next. So he's putting credit over to the company that's grown 5 years while he's been part of it from day one. So that's what I'm taking from that paragraph, or from MJF, and also talking about, which is true. He has he has a couple of injuries that is really hampering him, and he's going out there performing. He has some injuries. I think he probably going to need surgery, if I've heard. But I don't know how true. Again, those all dirty rumors to deter away from time away or from a contract negotiation, thinking that, oh, he's damaged goods, so there won't be any negotiation. That's just me. The reason why, and there are reasons that workers' right were brought up, often conversation around All Elite Wrestling, because there's a lot of goddamn more than them. The stuff ain't rocket science. Competition equals bad for management, good for labor. There used to be one major American wrestling company. Now there's two or three. That effing means it matters for the wrestlers who works here, since all have jobs that literally didn't exist 5 years ago. So he's putting over the company, saying because of All Elite Wrestling, there's opportunities or places for some of these other wrestlers to go and make a name for themselves. Or if you're released and you're washed up, you could go there to wrestle, like currently All Elite is doing right now. And also, I mean, it's, so he's thanking everyone. I'm not gonna go through the bore of you guys, but he's making it sound like, he mentioned Cody Rhodes. He his beautiful friendship in the business, where friends are like unicorns, and just leave it like that. They're rare in the business, but he called Cody Rhodes a really good friend. He's hurt. He's talking about, I think he's setting up to go away for a while, get healed, and then, you know what? While I'm healing up, make your bids. And I'll send you that so you can read it yourself and interpret that as well. I just don't want to bore everybody reading the whole thing. You could check it out on the Players Tribune, and you could go hashtag MJF at the on Twitter, or hashtag MJF. That will come up there, or on Instagram. He wrote it out there. Well thought, smart play there. Personally, I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat it again for everyone that's listening to this for the first time. If I had the pencil for All Elite Wrestling, if I was with Tony Khan, hey, let's write this, let's book this, let's create, let's do creative. The way I would do this, you have this devil angle, you have this devil maskman, henchman. Whoever you want to put as the ROH Tag Team Champions, that's okay. You put whoever you're going to put, that's fine. The masked man. If I'm the masked man with the mastermind, I will interject myself as Tony Khan as the masked man. Here's the reason why. You do Long Island, the most MJF called the most magical place in his place in the world for MJF. If MJF did sign if MJF did re-sign that contract, I would do that. I would call the Long Island screw job. You know that Khan likes to copycat and likes to take from wrestling from the history. He did today. He just gave Clemson an AEW title, copying what WWE is doing, where WWE has the official license for the Big 12, for NHL hockey, NFL, and pretty soon others, to be the distributor of the championship titles to all these different sporting brands in North America. Khan wants to do the same thing. Probably he interjected on that the bowl game there, giving one of AEW's titles. Okay, if you're copycatting so much and you want to be like your competition, copy that storyline. Because now, if MJF did resign, let MJF drop. You screw MJF of losing that title to Samoa Joe. You have MJF go away, heal up, but he's already, remember, guys, he's already re-signed. This is the scenario if he's re-signed with the company. Let him go away. Let him think that he's free agent while he's getting surgery, healing up 100%. And in March, when you have that pay-per-view, or if you want to hold him even longer, whatever, you bring Max back. You do some QR codes. You tease similar to the way WWE did with Bray's return, with others, with other little tidbits. You do that because now you have people watching Dynamite, tuning into Dynamite. Is he really gone? Do they mention anything? And it gives more eyeballs. You need eyeballs on your product because the rating wise, they're not doing good. And by the way, for all of those that thinking that they sold out the UCF in Orlando, 1,200 tickets were given away free. Because I purchased 2 tickets for my sons. Then all of a sudden, through a link, an email, if you go here, you were supposed to get free. You could have gotten tickets free to All Elite Wrestling. That's why that show was full of young families, kids, and because I remember and I love it how Busted Open, Tommy and Bully, they sometimes talk with the side of their mouths, and I love those guys. I love listening to them. Oh, the AEW had a lot of families. It's great to see like this. Dummies, didn't you think they gave them free tickets? All Elite Wrestling is always for an older crowd. You see them, go watch Dynamite. You'll see no one in that front row with those big tall glasses of beer because they weren't going to allow that in the UCF. They didn't allow it in that arena. They don't see nobody. When you go to any other Dynamites, they all got that big 24 big ass cup of beer. You didn't see it yesterday, you didn't see it Wednesday in Dynamite. That's why there was a lot of family members there, and it's not crapping on the product. But let's call what's real, what's spade is spade, what's real is real. Let's not sugarcoat it. Oh, they did really good with the numbers. Let's call it. Let's be fair. Let's call it enough with the nonsense. So that's with the BS. Those tickets were given away. That's all I wanted to say on that one. But that's one of the rumors out there. If you were Tony Khan, with knowing that MJF re-signed, would you just keep holding the title, and then people are gonna like, oh, he's not going anywhere, and that's very anticlimactic if you ask me.
I mean, here's the thing though, he's kind of put himself in a bind to where the only way to go is the anticlimactic role. Because if he interjects himself, it's not going to look like it's Tony Khan trying to do something to save his business. It'll look like a Mark trying to mark out, and he's finally got his own company. So now he wants to put himself in.
Yeah, that's
the precedent he set for himself already.
So then, why would you go with this devil route? Because if it's everyone wants to be Adam Cole, the guy still cannot walk. How is he going to? How are we going to get a payoff? Him screwing Max, and if Max is not returning to the company, the Adam Cole screwed him out of the whole company. That's why because he could easily say, I'm protecting my company for not having this guy show up on elsewhere with my title. But because you already have it, CM Punk. CM Punk still is possession of that AEW title that he put an X on. But of course, we see that's not going on nowhere near WWE television, because on his way out, he signed an NDA. Unless if every one of the wrestlers have an NDA where even if MJF still leaves with the title and he holds a tournament because he loves doing tournaments for a new world champion. So then MJF had signed an MDA that he could leave as champion. I mean, and that's another loophole. That's like, really? I mean, it's a lot of fuzziness when it comes to the way World's End is going to end for Elite Wrestling with MJF.
I don't know, man. It makes my brain feel heavy just thinking about all this.
That's why we have the discussion. That's why we have the discussion. We asked the chat family, the Heal the Ring podcast crew out there on the chat, out there listening to us on all the different platforms. This is the opportunity, guys. Bring the questions here. Of course, we want to acknowledge you with the questions and your thoughts there. Do you think MJF retains the title, and did he resign with All Elite Wrestling? Because when that news comes out with the Players Tribute, that it makes it seem like he's uncertain, guys. Like Triple H, the student, the mastermind, mentions that he's bringing in a former champion, Triple H, and he says, this is from his account, we're not going to confirm or deny the rumors of a former WWE champion returning to Raw. I know MJF is not a WWE former champion, but taking away that spotlight or the conversation that we just had away from all of wrestling, like who is going to be there day one? Because at the Raw day one, and we're like, let the speculation begin, because you could go in all different routes, because we all know now that WWE Triple H is in control on who gets to go into the Hall of Fame. He has the final say, all the say of who enters the Hall of Fame. Could it be that route, or is he bringing a new or returning wrestler back to the company?
I mean, with as much as there is going on in the company, I think it's gonna be a guest appearance.
Okay, that sounds fine.
They may have a match for one night. I could never take away the possibility because it's someone who was a champion. That means they were comfortable enough to put the company, in their hands to be represented by them. Now, who it is, I don't know, but lots of time when it is a former champion, someone who relatively is still in shape and could go.
You want to speculate? Give a name. I'm going to give a couple names out and what ifs. Well, this is all what ifs. This is where we're going to do what ifs. It's okay. Whatever the answer is, you could even say, if it's Hulk Hogan. I'm just throwing it as a name. I'm not saying that's not my name. That's not my choice. I'm just, we could say, what would benefit of and we could explain or debate about it. I want to throw one name out first, because I opened up saying that he has an opportunity now to bring in someone into the Hall of Fame. And I think, to me, comes Batista. He was supposed to be inducted into the Hall of Fame last year. He had a movie in South Africa. He couldn't make it. Former champion. Triple H brings him out day one. He oohs and ahs of the crowd. We saw Batista doing some phenomenal work with an animal shelter, getting homes for some dogs, doing some good stuff. Also, movie star as well. Looks great. Could be Batista. What's the benefit there? Because he's announcing the first Hall of Fame entry of the 2024 class. And of course, that's going to come with weeks to come. Introduction there. Maybe some people will start going, that was the big deal. And they were thinking else, and they're going to poo-poo it. But he could go in that safe route of Batista. Do you want to act that and give me another name? You could go on that. You could comment on that one, or give me another name if as well. Both. That's fine. And who do you guys think, guys?
You know what's funny? For some odd reason, I have this swerve in my head.
It's fine.
That is just Brock Lesnar coming back.
You could be right.
I don't know why. I don't know why I have this idea in my head that it's Brock Lesnar and he's about to beat someone that we didn't know.
Here's your pencil. Brock comes back. What's the purpose? Here's Pimple.
I mean, the only thing that comes to my mind is a certain individual who's been talking spicy about him for a while, who thinks he's ready to be the final boss.
Okay. So he goes and he calls out what he calls XYZ, or he's, I mean, he's coming out and he gets the oohs ahs in the crowd.
I wouldn't. All right, here's what I'd say, right? If here's how I would book it. I'd have it to where, because knowing Brock's personality, what I would do is I'd have it just, in backstage, Triple H runs into him and, there you go. You told me you were coming back. You sure you want to do this tonight? He goes, yeah, right? And they cut it short and that's it. Then all throughout the night, you're sprinkling Brock just walking around in the back like he's looking for someone. He might look at people, have tense face-offs with them, make them think that's who he's going after, right? Cool. I believe that day one, is Gunther supposed to defend his title day one?
No.
Or is there supposed to be a qualifying match that happens?
I have the card. Give me once. I'll get that in a minute. I do have the card. As we go ahead, as I get that, as I pull that.
But I'd have Brock essentially be, all throughout the back, kind of having interactions with different superstars. Then, if there is a qualifying match, I'd have, the company would definitely have Gunther be sitting ringside watching, not on the commentary table, but ringside watching, right? And we'd have one of, it either, hopefully it'd be a triple threat or a four-way matchup, something like that again. If we're doing that again, then somewhere along the way,
I've got the card, Chef. For now, that's not the only the matches advertised. Seth freaking Rollins versus Drew McIntyre, Rhea Ripley, Ivy Niles for the women's title, Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Zoe Starks taking on Natalia Tegan Knox for number one contender. That is so far currently announced right now. Doesn't mean that as of tomorrow, could be announced as well, because they want to get through the holiday tour, which in Kia center out in Los Angeles. If there's no injuries, so forth, they could announce the matches, or they'll announce the match day of or right after, so we could hook in. For now, those are the cards that was announced. Also, yeah, go ahead. Then I have a thought. I'm gonna go with Brock. I'm gonna give you my thought if it's Brock returning.
Okay, so then scratch that. No qualifying match. Here's what we do. We're teasing the face-offs, right? And then we cut to the ring where we have Gunther. He's coming out and he's about to cut a promo, letting the world know of his dominance and what to expect of him for, the year of 2024. Then you hear it.
I've got some unfortunate news though, Chef. We're gonna have to scrap that up. Get back into the writing board. Gunther just had a child with his wife. He is away. Remember, he told I didn't want to interrupt you because I wanted you to wait for your point, and I said, you know what, let me do a Vince McMahon and tell you to rewrite it. We're changing the script again. Gunther will not be around for a couple of weeks due to the birth of his first child. So he's going to be on about 3 to 4 weeks or 3 weeks, something similar around that. He told, remember when he told Imperium, you guys figure it out. You guys been losing. It's 2024. Figure it out. So, but you could still, that's why I was going to wait for you, because I have a scenario where that's going to run in that timeline, but go for it.
Damn, I gotta rewrite it. Oh man.
You want to give you my thoughts while you rehash and recalculate?
I mean, but I mean, if I'm rehashing and recalculating, I gotta change my returning WWE champion.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. But we're gonna finish the Brock then, and then we're gonna go with different champions, because we're gonna do like similar to the Marvel's What If. We're doing it with the wrestling rumors and what if, if this wrestler, what if. We're going to open up a multiversal reality with wrestling, where anything could happen, and we're going to try to see what makes sense, and if we hit it, we hit it. Personally, the one here's what I will try. If it's Brock Lesnar return. Brock Lesnar returns, like you said with Triple H, you really want it, but instead of going, we know Gunther's not available, but he goes after, he demolishes Imperium. Both Ludwig and Giovanni send a message to him. I'm coming for his streak. I'm the streak ender. I beat the Undertaker streak. Send a message, and now it buys for. I'm going to see you at the Rumble. Either they're not, but I'm entering the Rumble because I'm going to destroy your So Gunther's not going to have an Intercontinental title because you want that for WrestleMania, but you could save that where there's a lot of animosity, where he's just totally annihilating Imperium. Even if you want to repackage and give Imperium a couple time off on the shelf to bring him back, like Brock really destroyed, and Gunther's kind of alone. But then if you want, in a what if reality, you make here when the Rumble comes out, number 1 to the Rumble, Gunther. Number 2, Brock Lesnar. You have them face off at 1 and 2 on the Rumble. And then they bad blood, where it's going to spill, where later down the road they eliminate each other, whatever they want. They want each other. They want to try to get themselves an elimination chamber. It doesn't happen, whatever, or so forth. Or Imperium returns and he beat up Brock, couldn't get his hands on Gunther, and then you set up for the WrestleMania match. That's one if world. If it's Gunther returning as that champion for the WWE, that Triple H is teasing.
Damn. You're a better booker than me. All right. Now I gotta roll up my sleeves. Because I gotta now chef now. Now you're challenging my spirit as a chef. I got the ingredients that I gotta work with what I got. All right. Hold up. let's go a little. All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
What's up, Heel? How you doing? I am Heel. Salute to you. Thank you for joining us.
Okay. All right. Hmm.
You
With
could
the
move
card
on
that
from
you
Brock.
presented me, right? No,
I'm
I
sorry.
don't want to move on from Brock.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Here's what we
fine.
can do. Here's what we can do. With the card that you gave me, I can have a match, tag team matchup. Imperium versus the Creed brothers. Because Imperium gets under the Creed brothers' skin.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to get their role going. Plus, the Creed brothers have a legitimate reason, have a legitimate vibe going right now because we remember Julius did kick out. You and I both remember that. Now, Michael Cole
Yes.
didn't
Yes.
acknowledge that, but
Right.
you and I, because you put me onto the Creeds, and now I'm a fan. Julius did kick out of that pin the last time we saw them, so they have a right to challenge for the titles again, but they can't lose. But Imperium has to also not lose. So Imperium versus Creed brothers. Imperium starting to look good. Halfway through the match, things that, you know what? Not even halfway through the match, they pull a sleazeball move, and then they start the match, and they look like they're about to dominate the whole match. And as they're about to dominate it, that's when you have Brock come out.
Perfect.
Brock comes out, and he demolishes Imperium.
Perfect.
Doesn't really look at the Creed's way. Doesn't look at them. They're looking. They look at each other, and they're young, but they're young enough. They're young, but they're smart enough to know when the Beast Incarnate's in the ring, you just walk away.
You can have Avi now. You can have Avi now retrieve them away, hold them back.
Yep. Have Ivy now pull them away, like, hey, come here. He ain't here for y'all, so you best not get in his way. And that's how we end that matchup.
Yeah.
Then from there, we can have a kind of 2 to 3 week scenario where
Brock.
Imperium is trying to have matches and set themselves up, but they don't know exactly if Brock is going to come out and demolish them. And they don't even know for what reason Brock is coming out to demolish them.
There you go.
There we go.
That's a good one because that sets up. Now, where do you want to see them go at it? Royal Rumble in Tampa, or do you want to try to prolong it to see if you could push it to WrestleMania? Because we've seen that Brock. We got a couple of series. I don't think Brock will go over on Gunther, but boy, would that bring credibility to Gunther even more on that title range, beating a Brock Lesnar. That's like getting him elevated, getting him ready, Gunther, for 2024 to possibly go for a world title run if and when that magical or that historical intercontinental title run comes to an end. But if you beat from so I don't know if you want to do a series, two matches, or whatever. But I say I would like to see that as a WrestleMania moment. But they have to give something to people in Australia as well.
You're absolutely right. But in the same note, what I can say is, even if we don't have Brock going over on Gunther, this is the perfect opponent for Gunther to establish himself as a heel.
Totally agree on you on that. Totally agree on you on that. And we'll see, because that's interesting. That's one of the, again, if you're joining us right now, we're doing some Wrestle Rumors talks. We're talking about night one. We're talking about that tease that Triple H mentioned about a former champion returning to WWE on night one. Who could it be? And we're saying who it is and what's their purpose or their mission statement coming out night one in the direction of 2024 with the WWE. We mentioned Batista first, is to let us know that he's going to be the first person be inaugurated in the Hall of Fame, former champion, former member of Evolution. You could have, even have Randy Orton if he's there to greet him and all that good stuff, all that nostalgia, good, feel good with it. Also, you mentioned just Gunther. Now let's go to another former champion here. I'm going to go with the one. My thoughts is this is going to totally change the whole landscape. Everyone's going to take a step back And when I mean step back, the whole WrestleMania card is going to shift all the way back. To me, it's the one and only, the most electrifying former champion in the world, The Rock. We all saw Dwayne The Rock Johnson mention, saw a kid ask as a make a wish for him to see him wrestle. He's going to grant that wish to a Make a Wish child. We don't know if it's going to be a several matches. We saw that with John Cena. John Cena did an 8-week run for the WWE to finish out from September all the way to November at Crown Jewel. 8-week run for that was a Make a Wish request. So the same thing was asked for Dwayne Johnson. He said he's willing to. Yes, he agreed. He didn't say when. Again, people, he didn't say when. Could it be that Rock comes out, announced that he's entering the Rumble, or he just returns and throws a monkey wrench to the whole WrestleMania plan? I am back. Don't know when, but I'm back. He could come out, declare number 30 for the Rumble, win the Rumble, challenge the Tribal Chief, and now you have something. Oh my goodness! Everybody takes a step back because now the Elimination Chamber becomes very important. Because if you want to go, if it for Punk, he has to have to. If he wants Rollins, or if Rollins drops the title to Drew McIntyre, that's a whole nother conversation because also Mr. Senor Money in the Bank is running around with that briefcase. So there's so many multi-reality verses of the way the WWE booking could go, which anywhere you could think of, the story gets compelled and gets more exciting because you still got Cody. We want Cody to finish his story. And we want him to be maybe a two-time Royal Rumble winner or winning Elimination Chamber. We could have, I know D-Walk said the Big Show Rock finish where they both hit the floor simultaneously, he mentioned that. Could that be there? Could it be a shenanigans with the Rumble at the end of the finish? We don't know. There's so many technicals there, but me with Dwayne The Rock Johnson coming back out, that's another former champion that throws everybody. The whole card goes back, everyone, because you want tribal champion, you want the tribal chief supremacy there, and for who's going to be the tribal chief for the world for the title. It helps Joe, aka Roman, take a win over Rock, a legacy champion that he beats he continues to solidify that title. Cody, I know he doesn't finish his story in WrestleMania, but there's still money in the bank that he can win the briefcase, cash it in on Roman later down the road. You don't have to worry about crossing him for SmackDown or Raw because he has the briefcase now, where later on he could finish that story after Hulk Hogan's legacy title run has been demolished by Roman Reigns, which it looks like WWE wants to break Hogan out of that record, drop him down, and have Roman be second all time. So they could have their cake and eat it too if Dwayne Johnson decides to make a monkey wrench to the whole process of the WWE. I know fans will hate it. People will poo-poo it. People are probably going bananas, cursing up a storm if he does. Might even hate The Rock, might even boo the whole match. But it's bigger because it's a legacy title that they're trying to write a legacy history with wrestling, despite the fact if you don't like Roman or think he'll wrestle long enough. And you can also tease it through the NXT because who's in NXT? His daughter, Ava Raine. She's really not in any storyline as just like a substitute, like a assistant general manager. Let the wise man go down there and do all the legwork where trying to recruit the daughter and then the feud gets hotter. Stay away from my daughter, and all these different things. Chef, your thoughts?
It it fits. It fits, and they've always planted seeds. That's the wonderful thing about wrestling is that they've always had the ability to plant seeds for you to harken back to something. So now even when you go through the history books sometimes and you think that a feud popped up out of nowhere, it's like if you really do your history, they planted a seed a long time ago. These two had an interaction a while back. You just didn't remember it because it happened so many, years ago, and you've been faced every week with a new interaction. That's the beautiful part about wrestling. So, I mean, like you said, it fits. It if anything, that would be the mode I would go through because that does a couple of things. Number one, that helps extend the timeline for Roman to beat Hulk, like you said. But number two, man, it also, how do I say this? It adds a little to that working man aura of Cody Rhodes. it adds a little to the aura of him, of them not thinking he's the guy, when in all actuality, we know he's being set up to be the guy. It adds more to him getting the Dusty Rhodes pop of him, being able to run into the crowd, and the crowd is going to swarm him. It's going to feel like when Eddie won and he jumped into the crowd and you felt like, yo, they were about to damn near jump over the barricade for this guy. Like, Cody still needs, I don't know why, but it feels like even though they took the WrestleMania moment away and people thought he should have won then, right now, looking back at it, I just go, nah, they were right this entire time, and it still feels like it needs a little bit more time.
And yeah, it makes money. I know WWE doesn't need to sell it. The tickets are phenomenal. By the way, Cody Rhodes signed an extension in November for another 5 years. So if he wasn't told the direction of the company with different variables, he would have not signed that 5-year extension. He would have some out clause, whatever the case. He signed he re-up for another 5 more years, so he isn't going anywhere. So he knows something. They're going to elaborate the plan with Cody Rhodes. So he signed. Yes, like you said, would it suck that he wins the title at a SummerSlam or Survivor Series is not a WrestleMania moment, especially when a longevity champion like Roman Reigns, when you defeat him, it has to be something big. Like wow moment, like in a Survivor Series, one of your signature premium pay-per-view premium Royal Rumble. WrestleMania is the coup de grace. You want him to win that, but maybe you have to make him wait with the Money in the Bank and have him wait a whole WrestleMania calendar 41 if Rock does return, because you have him win Money in the Bank, because I know people say have him fight Damian Priest and take that Money in the Bank and cash it in on WrestleMania. Doesn't seem. I want him to earn that Money in the Bank, get that money briefcase and win it. Where everybody's like, "Oh, he did it!" If he doesn't win the Rumble, become a 2-time Rumble champion. There's nothing wrong with Cody. I mean, but he's gonna lose momentum. Nonsense. Whereas as long as he continues what he's doing, remember the baby face has to have that adversity. When he finally beats that adversity, that satisfaction of overcoming all those obstacles and adversity, you feel it. You gravitate to it with Cody Rhodes as champion. It'd be interesting what they'll set up. Then what's the WrestleMania card? We have months to figure that out. There's so many. We have to see what happens night 1 of Raw, then summer Royal Rumble, and then Elimination Chamber. So many different things can happen because there could be so many new members of the WWE coming in with all the rumors that are out there. I'm going to go through all the rumors of all the names that are coming right now before we add for more wrestlers. Before we say former champions that's returning and getting into the multiverse, continue with that conversation. We all know that Mr. Sean Spears, the chairman of the board, AEW, good friend of Cody Rhodes, finished his obligations with All Elite Wrestling. He is a free agent, a wrestler who could come in. Also, I believe worked in the WWE before. And of course, his wife, we saw her as well, part of the Iconics, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, I'm Royce. And she was part of there. There's good ties there. Maybe he'll come in as an ally for Cody Rhodes, a friend, or a Rumble appearance. Me personally, I think he'll go to TNA. I think Spears and TNA would do a phenomenal job there. He'll get a lot of reps, TV time, and be utilized there. But who knows? Never count out WWE for him. Also, Andrade El Idolo. His time is coming up, and people are expecting him to return to the WWE. Charlotte Flair, despite the knee injury, has re-signed for another also multi-year deal. I believe it's 3 years to her contract. She is staying in the WWE. Why not bring her husband back to the company where Triple H was booked phenomenal, did some good work there in NXT. Vince for another, that's all. He's not there no more. Johnny Laurinaitis no longer there. This is a whole new where they could see the value of these guys and work with them and have those character development. Andrade is going to go to CML first. Maybe things change with Charlotte's injury. They don't want to be away from her, getting her to rehab. Why not do it in a WWE facility where his wife is there? He signs with the company, help her get rehab, bringing her and attending to her, whatever to her needs through the WWE. If he signs back, instead of maybe he has to put the CML plans on hold. He wanted to go wrestle in Mexico. He wanted to go do a little tour there. He was doing that currently as this weekend, but I don't know how long that's going to be before he's completely gone. He's expecting to fight Miro at World's End. People say that might be his final match in All Elite Wrestling. Only time will tell. Another name that's out there, especially we spoke about Maxwell Jacob Freeman. He'll throw another monkey wrench, although he's not going to run. As soon as he reaches the WWE, he's not going to run the top of the card, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to, make his way there, but his name is pop, could be like a, oh, damn moment. If especially if he comes out at the Rumble, if they want him, if he's really, like you said, he's injured, that's more of a WrestleMania moment for MJF coming out where like, oh, damn, in Philadelphia. I mean, whoa, and then he could cut a promo. I had to come to the scumbag city here and yada, yada, yada. And then off to the races, MJF goes in the WWE company. But those are some of the names out there. There'll be some more names to be spoken about. Okada, but Okada is not a former champion, but Okada comes to the WWE. That's another prestige name that comes to the company. I don't know if that's going to be a huge wow factor to the American company or the American brand that's watching the fan base that don't know really Okada. But he does a lot of rumors that he might be interested in the WWE run. Although it looks like All Elite Wrestling, as we spoke about it yesterday, because he will be able to go back to Japan and wrestle or take on some other independent shows where the WWE is strictly mostly WWE related, unless if he talks to Nakamura how his time is going as well. We'll talk about the women too, guys. I know we have some women coming in as well.
I do want to note though, because I was able to get the information. Not all WWE talent is under exclusively on WWE.
No.
I'm
glad you mentioned that.
Bronson Reed wrestles on the independent scene from time to time as well.
Dexter Lumis as well gets to wrestle on independent scene and get his reps going. That's why we haven't seen him too much on TV, still with WWE. There's a few of them that are able. We also, speaking about independent, it's not an independent wrestling company, but we saw the return of William Regal on WWE social media accounts, having the pleasure to introduce a working relationship with All Japan Wrestling and sending his son Charlie Dempsey to All Japan to wrestle in a tournament, and a working relationship with WWE and All Japan Wrestling. We're seeing the interactions of different companies working with the WWE, where we didn't see that before under a Vince McMahon umbrella to a degree. And also now, as of today, we had news that WWE wants to work with Stardom. Stardom is the all-female Japanese women's wrestling company, where there's been a lot of famous names there, where one of the ones is Gala, who is going to be a free agent in March, and people are saying if she doesn't return to Japan, it will be WWE. No All Elite Wrestling, but we did hear Tony Khan come out and say that he's going to invest a lot of money in the women's division. You could put money in the women's division, but if you're not booking it or storyline-wise feeling it, and your crowd doesn't respect it, no matter how much money you interject, you're going to have unhappy talent. They have good women. I've said it before when we used to do before Jade left and Britt and all that. They had it, but they didn't know how to book it. I thought they should have taken one of those shows from Rampage, an hour or something, and made it just a women's program. You can't get any worse numbers that you're getting now. And you could have showcased the women there. You have Thunder Rosa returning for All Elite Wrestling. Interesting to see that working relationship where remember, WWE wants to go global. What was Triple H's mission statement doing NXT globally? NXT Japan, NXT Mexico, NXT Europe, NXT India. Now if you open up that door where you're going to help out the Japanese market with the wrestlers, having your talent go there, it doesn't feel bad if they open up an NXT school in Japan. You're not coming there to be intrusive because you're working with some of these schools, chef. I think that's a smart business decision.
It is. And not only that, it also keeps the open relationship. And not only that, with these relationships, you then start to get more information on other companies. With more information, you then start to find out who's unhappy, where, and what you can possibly do, and start to get and take advantage of. We're in a new time where, as much as Vince, you're absolutely right. Vince laid the blueprint. Vince did a lot of great things, but at this moment right now, every single play he's had up his sleeve, we've seen before. He's not throwing a new curveball. He's not throwing a new, a new seam, a new two seam. He's not throwing any new pitches down the mound that we haven't seen before. So at this point, we all are starting to get used to it. So what can we do now? They figure out a way to change their method. So kudos to WWE, man, in doing something that we've seen in the history before they would never have been willing to do under the old regime. But with this regime, they're changing right before our eyes.
Correct. And that's why it leads me now to one of the most popular champion to return on night one. We said Rock, who is the most electrifying, but this woman, she's money. And we're talking about Sasha Banks, Mercedes Bernardo, Mercedes Monet. She trademarked a bunch of stuff because they're putting this out there. The WWE and Sasha did have intimate talks, and now they're separated, falling apart, way different. To me, this is to take the sniff off the dirt sheets because she's been putting pictures of her run in WWE. She's working out with Triple H's mustache, the handlebar mustache, in the background. A lot of teasing there, chef. Where there's smoke, there's a lot of fire always. You know, you're in the kitchen, you know it. When you smell smoke, something's burning. I want to see Mercedes back. Be a Royal Rumble. I don't want to see her day one because then she's on the Raw brand. The story where Mercedes Sasha, we're gonna say Mercedes Sasha, where we don't know if she returns what name she's going to go under, shows that it's with Bailey. Her friendship, her kinship, her sisterhood with Bailey, and what Bailey's going through right now with possibly dissension in the damage control might be kicking her out. Where if they could put a storyline in the Rumble where Bailey wins the Rumble and they do a Batista moment with her and, thumbs down and they kick her out. Here comes Mercedes to the rescue to help. Or they're gonna remove, certain different things could happen where Mercedes debuts at the Rumble, and by mistake, she helps Mercedes eliminate one of the members from Damage Control, and they didn't like him, and Bailey wins, and Bailey, somehow double crosses Sasha, or even Bailey works with Sasha from my mistake, whatever. Looks like it was a mistake or not, and then and Sasha wins, and they kick out Bailey, and then Sasha comes out to help her, and you're off to the races.
I need her to be on the Raw brand.
I hear you.
You know why. You know what I'm about to say. And but now that
the storyline doesn't work on it though, with her at the red brand.
I know. But then here's the issue that you're gonna run into. Because there is a power vacuum there's a power vacuum now that Charlotte's gone. There is a place for a star to be placed right there on the roster of SmackDown while Charlotte's injured. Because we're not expecting her back for a while. And if Mercedes Monet, if Sasha Banks is the one you want to take that place, that's fine. But now that means that you're telling me that the star power of Rhea Ripley and the star power of Nia Jax and the star power of Becky Lynch, that's the competition that Jade Cargill is going to have to walk into.
Now, we still don't know where Jade is going, though.
Remember, exactly.
We still don't know where Jade is coming. We don't know, and we don't know when she's coming. I know guys were saying yesterday that she's not ready. She's not really good. Might not make it might not be in the Rumble. Triple H said whenever she's ready. She's dealing with a situation. She just had to put her mother down, lay her down to rest. She went through a cancer battle that she's lost. That's a tough one for Jade. Yeah. Mentally. She looks phenomenally in physical shape, but that's a tough one. Whenever she needs, maybe she's not ready for the Rumble.
Hey, here's the other part too, though. Me personally, I wouldn't debut her in the Rumble. because if I like if the rumors are true that Bailey is supposed to win the Royal Rumble, then why would you put her in a match? Why would your first impression of her in ring be her losing after you did this 2 week walkthrough of her appearing on every show, doing face to face with prominent figures, talking with general managers, getting walkthroughs with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, to do all that, and then the first sight of her in ring is her losing the Royal Rumble. That'd be highly unpleasant to me.
Well, you could protect her where a bunch of women gang up the same way Nia Jax, the way we saw Nia Jax return last year, a bunch of women ganged up and got rid of her. You know, and where it's like, damn, it really, what a powerhouse. She go in there and clean house, and it took a bunch of women just to nail her, just barely getting her out. You could go that route with her, if you wanted to protect her that way. Where she's not taking a pin, but she got eliminated.
There's always a way to go over even in a loss.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's another name I want to see. I kind of do want to see Sasha return. Also, we have Gela coming up, from the former, and well, she's not former, she's still the New Japan Women's Champion, to see if she goes to the WWE. And her storyline, everyone assumes she will be going to Damage Control because of the Japanese influence and the Japanese facet group there, where they could add her and make them strong. Maybe she be the outcast, where she comes in and says, I'm breaking this up, something different. You also have former NWA champion Camille, who is available out there, who she's another specimen. I mean, she's just like Jade Cargill. I mean, just a Caucasian version, just big, strong woman. I mean, a specimen. Don't know, really good ring ability as well. You also, they mentioned her name as a possibility coming to the WWE. Also, in one of the Reddits on that Royal Rumble leak out was Diana Peraza, who is currently right now a free agent. Diana has ties with the WWE. She posted recently on her social. That's the I love my Orlando family. Of course, there was some WWE wrestlers there. She's real close with a lot of the WWE wrestlers because she moved. That's the reason why I moved to Orlando, because she was in NXT along with Big Breaker back then, as well as Chelsea Green. They teased a group. There's a photo going around with all three ladies. We know Britt is unhappy in AEW. I don't know when's her contract up. She's an original. She's not feeling loved or whatever. Possibly be asked for a release, which Tony won't do. But you never know with these days what's going on. She said a lot of things that she got fined by Daniel Bryan for saying. She made a comment. I believe Edge got this amount of TV time. XYZ got amount of any time. Britt Breaker in 2003, none. Live TV, live promo time. And she did it while Dynamite was on live. It was at 9:45. Instead of not waiting while the show was off, it was a hot heat of the moment. Daniel Bryan fined her because Daniel Bryan has authority now to do some fines and stuff like that by Khan, where you could have a whole question. Why is a talent finding other talent? You have to have someone who's not a wrestler to do that fining. You could have Bryan as a locker room police, absolutely, but to hand out fines and while he's wrestling, it looks kind of politicking for your own benefit. So that's one of the issues that's going on with All Elite Wrestling. But my point is, Deonna Purrazzo is a free agent, and we're going to talk about this next. But let me stop myself there, so I'll let you get some words involved on that, on what was said by me a few seconds ago.
That's once again more star power in the women's division. It's gonna lead to, I think, it's more importantly, that partnership with Stardom, and hopefully to where they, do an event with women only, like we've been discussing. Like they have the talent, you have the roster, you just now need to be able to put it in play. And I think the wrestling world will more than welcome it, because Stardom already has given you an evidence that, hey, this works.
Oh yeah, Stardom does work. We know that. It was to me, the time that they show it, a little bit difficult for me to watch. But if I had the time, I would definitely watch Stardom.
And the other, like, here's the bonus thing about it too. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, because I
In
even watch
regards to,
women.
look,
Mhm.
I'm about to say this, and this is it is what it is, and what I'm about to say, this is the truth. Like, the American public, like, yes, there are times where women working together in the sports dynamic, i.e., basketball or soccer, where it looks beautiful, but that's not what pays the bills. A lot of times, the women that make the most money are the women in the combat sports, boxing, MMA, and now wrestling. And now you have a golden opportunity here where you could potentially set it up to where women have their own form of, their own show. And this could draw numbers. And I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't be opposed to it because they know how to tell a story, especially the OG women. If you have the right women leading that locker room and leading in production, along with some of the older men, older wrestling men who helped help produce some of the matches back in the day. Because I've seen some of the documentaries, and a guy like Finley who helped produce a lot of the matches that were history making for the women of today, help produce the women of today. So I know there's more of that now more than ever, and the women are more than willing to do so. Get physical in the ring, but still show a side of storytelling where they can be themselves and truly be women, and don't have to force themselves to be, oh, it's just a women version of. No, it's like it's women's pro wrestling, and they have their own style, and it's not like the men's, but it's their style.
I agree with you on that. I can add to that there with the style there. Um, when I'm looking at this with the women, I'm glad that these free agent women want to come to WWE because they know they're gonna get pushed. With the Jade, the other ladies, the way Triple H following the lead of Stephanie McMahon with the Women's Revolution. And by the way, I would love to see them give us a Women's Revolution pay-per-view, even if they give us 2 premium live events in a month. Give us a women's pay-per-view. I know people are going to say, "What the hell are you talking about?" These ladies are performing. You could do it. Give me a Queen of the Ring. Give me the Queen of the Ring.
It's not only that, but when you look at it from this perspective, it may seem like a lot to everyone, but realistically, look at it. You only get 7 hours of TV time,
Yes.
right? On Raw, how much, like on Raw, 3 hours, how much of it is dominated by the women?
Not much. They get enough. They get time because we see them main event on Raw. We seen them, but it's still not enough. You get maybe 3 matches for women.
You get maybe 3. So at most, we'll give them 45 minutes. So out of 3 hours, that's 45 minutes already.
Right.
Then you go to NXT, it's 2 hours. How much time do they get there?
They actually get a little more. We could say that. You could say that. You could say that show is 50-50 split, men and women.
50-50 split. So that's an hour and 45 minutes out of 5 hours.
Right.
Then you go to SmackDown.
Half hour.
Half hour. So 2 hours and 15 minutes out of 7 hours. It's not enough time.
Yeah. Because that's why
the amount of talent that they have.
Yes.
And the ability, it's not enough time.
It isn't. And then people complain about the women's tag team titles. They talk about how the women's tag team division, the tag team titles, is not good. Oh, it's not great. It sucks. There's again, we're being kind, giving it that time that you mentioned, almost 2 hours of the 7. We could even some of us argue at times they get an hour and a half. We could argue that. Oh, anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Let's for argument's sakes. You got with right now in both SmackDown and Raw, the world title is top heavy. They're extremely top heavy with Rhea Ripley on top.
Oh, yeah.
No point intended. You know, with the contenders that she has, with Becky Lynch, there's star power in that top of the women's division as well. And then you go over to SmackDown, it's also loaded on the top end of the women's title with Io Sky, with the Damage Control, Becky, Bianca, Charlotte Flair. You know, there's a lot of top heavy names in that women division that you have to put those women out there, because Bianca sells merch with that, with the little girls look up to Bianca Belair. Right now, Bailey and Charlotte, one of your and Becky, horsewomen, you know, who's helped pay the weight of that exciting women's wrestling that we have now. No longer divas, now they're women wrestling. You know, um, not enough room for the tag team. People tend to poo-poo or talk negative about not developing the women's tag team titles. There's some truth to some of that, but there's not enough. They're trying to give you enough time. They got to show us something. Also, when these ladies come out, the crowd does a terrible job at least encouraging them. They stay quiet. They act like they ignore. You see them on their phones. They just because they're women. There is still, and I say it, and I hate guys. You might get mad what I'm going to say, but I'm going to be real honest. You could feel the sexism when it comes to women when they come out in the tag team, or in any, or if they're not top heavy. If they're not showing you nothing like with a little jiggy and some flesh, you guys tend to get sexist on the watch, on not the watch on, but as the crowd watching the ladies in the arena.
Oh yeah, which is why the other idea for me was like for them to, you know, if I was them, I'm limiting it to airing it on the Peacock app only, this event, and I'm only doing it in select towns. And the select towns I'm doing it are the towns that we know. Like Jedi is without a doubt, they appreciate wrestling. They get on their feet. They clap because going back to it because you made me remember. Chicago Survivor Series. The women's war game match, that wasn't a silent crowd.
No.
Bakersfield, No Mercy, Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton, that was not a silent crowd. There are these small pocket towns that just appreciate wrestling. Shoot, you could even do it in Canada.
Oh yeah, yeah. The Canadian crowd in Toronto.
In Canada,
yeah.
The Canadian crowd always appreciates wrestling.
Yeah, down here, Orlando. Not because I'm being biased and I live here. They there's a lot. Most of them live here, so you're gonna talk about, you're gonna have a friends and family to at least to show or showcase and get everyone, the friends and family and the supporters of these wrestlers, the female. We're gonna go out there and support, and we're gonna set the table to show everybody. Look, they cheer here. So now they be like, wait a minute, people are cheering. They're going crazy here for every match, and we'll make sure as a crowd to go, yo, we're going to go bananas, even if for everybody that comes out, every performer, we're going to bull the heels, we're going to go crazy, we're going to set records. When they talk about Orlando, we're going to beat the next Chicago. You know, I will make sure that I will go on my soapbox talking that. And if you have friends and family, you're going to go see your friends, let's go. I think they need to have a women's Queen of the Ring tournament where they get your inaugural first mid-card women's champion, United States, Intercontinental, whatever. And you can have even two. You can even have the NXT involved with the women there, in NXT title for North American Women's Champion. 2 tournaments, a night of women, spectacular. If you call it Dusty Rhodes Classic, if you want to do that, or you want to call it Mae Young, or some of the the China. The China Revolution. I don't know, something. The Joni Classic. Something, where it's like, whoa, Queen in the Ring, just something there. I think they need it. Even if they give us 2 in 2 weeks period or 3 with NXT, 3 pay-per-views, but they need just for female so they can really get showcased. And those ladies will put on a show. I know that because they've done it.
And the other part too is like there's a power in rarity and selectiveness. And what I mean by that is like you said, if you make the shows as rare as possible, but not too rare to where like we're not seeing them enough. And if you make it to where we're only selecting it in these certain towns, because we know these towns really appreciate women wrestling. And if you want it to be in your town, then guess what? Start watching it more and more and be vocal as fans. Then maybe, if the fanfare is enough, we'll come to your town.
Right. And don't wait for them to show you skins. Appreciate the in-work
Yeah.
ability of the ladies. We're talking about the in-work, the spots.
Yes.
The chair moments off the top ropes for the moon, the different shots with the tables, with the stuff that the moonsaults that Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, who put her knees out for us to do those moonsaults, those type of appreciation those women need there. Yes, and by the way, kudos for WWE paying her highest paid woman wrestler for now for Charlotte. I believe Mercedes Moné wants the same contract as Charlotte Flair. And look, if Mercedes could bring the amount of merchandise and the pizzazz that Charlotte brings, they have no problem giving her that money. There's no problem, because then she can't complain about being upset. Remember, that's the second time that Sasha has threatened to leave, being unhappy for other reasons. But again, this is a different regime. No, Johnny, I've said it, and I'm going to die on the anthill. I think Johnny Laurinaitis had a lot to do why they were very upset with both her and Trinity. I don't have no insights. It's just a gut, because she looked like she had a really good relationship with Vince, able to talk with Vince back and forth. Maybe Vince not breaking the order, because they say a house divided doesn't stand, wasn't going to really go against John Laurinaitis a bit. But at the end of the day, after they left, what happened? Johnny was gone. Notice that he lost a big attraction and two big attractions, and Vince got rid of Johnny and Laurinaitis afterwards. So I think Johnny had a lot of things to do for the morale and the upset, along with Vince as well. I'm not trying to exonerate Vince McMahon as well. I think he had his riches ways, but he knew how to make money. He knew how to make the machine roll. But Johnny, I thought, was a big part of it. Where people just did not like him. Rigid was terrible stories about him and all that stuff. I think he had a lot to do why the tag team titles were thrown at him. They weren't thrown at Vince. They were thrown at Johnny Laurinaitis' desk. Remember the story? And they walked out. And I don't think Vince was going to go public. And again, you don't do that to your guy. You do that behind closed doors. You say, and then you saw the changes afterwards. After he realized, got the facts, he made the change. He didn't do it at the spot, emotional. And because you don't want to underestimate the authorities who you have underneath you, because everyone else wants to do it and think he's a pushover. That's the problem with Khan. He goes running and coddles the talent. The talent don't respect the authority figures. So Vince did it the right way. Unfortunately, it backfired. They lost Sasha. They lost Trinity. We get it, but I think Johnny, and I'm going to go on and I think it was Johnny Laurinaitis at the end of the day that caused that discomfort or a lot of the issues with WWE, along with Vince. But I'm gonna stick with it. To someone from the WWE tells me, son, you're wrong, man, and they'll enlighten me, educate me, and they'll say, okay, I was wrong. But I'm going on that. I'm going with that perseverance on that, Chef Dan. So I would like to see Sasha return. Those are the names out there. Is there any other world champion that you could think of out of left field that will be there at night one? I mean,
the only other name at this point would be a nostalgia act.
And we saw a lot of. And
here's the problem, though. It's not. It wouldn't be a nostalgia act. You were right. Because now thinking about it, it had to be someone who's being inducted into the Hall of Fame, because we're so close to WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think that kicks off. To be honest with you, that kicks off WrestleMania season. I know they have the Rumble, but to me, I think January 1st, day one, if they're gonna announce Hall of Fame, WrestleMania season kicks off. That's to me. That's tomorrow. Monday will be the inauguration, the start of WrestleMania season. Because now all eyes at the Rumble, because Rumble has implication for WrestleMania. So to me, night one is an implication of WrestleMania season kicking off for the WWE. I wanna bring this here. When it comes to talk about the Rumble, WrestleMania, the WWE, all this for that nostalgia act, we all heard from a former WWE Universal Champion on one of the most famous streaks in wrestling, complaining, whining about not having a career send-off match, calling Vince McMahon a piece of garbage or a piece of crap, expletive. Goldberg said that Vince McMahon on a podcast didn't promise him or said he wanted a final career-ending match, And since he didn't get it, Vince is a piece of crap, piece of shit. Sorry for the language. Where I heard that, I said, you know what? Maybe he is, but who the hell are you? Be honest with you. Where you by your A&E documentary that WWE showcased for you, your word said that you weren't a fan of wrestling. You did not like the business. You didn't, and you came in because you had nothing else after football. You had the look, you had the demeanor, and an agent said, "Why don't you try the wrestling business? Because you have the look. You can't play football no more. Well, for whatever reason, maybe lack of talent, cut, don't have no direction." And you went to wrestling to power plant, and they saw something and they gave you this monster streak, protect you because you were marketable, and where everyone in the wrestling business says you were dangerous. You were hurting people left and right. You ended Bret Hart's career on a kick, all that stuff. And not only that, you went away when you were in the height of the WWE, when they wanted you. Remember, you and Brock decided to leave. One was going to do football, and I don't know what the other one was going to do, something crazy, something around those lines. You were brought back to the company as welcoming with open arms, hashed things out, made some money. You wanted your son to see you wrestling, according to the A&E documentary. Then, out of nowhere, on that time in Saudi Arabia, they gave you the Universal title over a hot Bray Wyatt on The Fiend, which is the worst decision that everyone. And I wasn't watching wrestling, and that came to my ear. I wasn't watching. I got disconnected a little bit with wrestling due to life. And to hear that he won the world title there, people were outraged. And then for you, and then when you came back, and all the different act that you were coming back, and the WrestleMania moments and stuff, and you still say that you and I kudos. I wish I could give you credit to whoever it was, and I read it, and I comment. Kudos to what you said. Goldberg wanted to squash a young talent to on his way out of the business. When no, and they said, well, Edge did that. Edge is different. Edge went over Sheamus, another main man, before leaving the WWE out of the business. It wasn't like he squashed a younger talent. So who do you want Goldberg to feed so he could squash out? There's nothing wrong with Sheamus losing because his friend, his best friend. No one was friends with Goldberg, best friends in that business.
Not only that, but even then, like when you look at it, like you really can't say Edge, because even then, Edge did what he was supposed to. He got Judgment Day over.
Correct.
Like most greats only get one wrestler over, the guy that pins them. No, he got Damian Priest. Damian Priest was going nowhere for a while.
Absolutely. Preach.
Priest is on the roll. Finn Balor, we already know what he could do, but now he's intriguing in a different way, and it doesn't involve the demon. Kudos to him for that. Rhea Ripley, she was already looking dominant, but with the Judgment Day and her being in control over them, oh my gosh. And then Dominic Mysterio. Edge more than did his job.
I agree. That's why it was okay. It's all right for him to go and screwed out an adventure on All Elite Wrestling. Go, have fun with Christian, not in a sarcastic or mean way. Go and make money, because what you did, you made the WWE one of the most vicious groups. Gave birth to it with all those guys you just mentioned and the lady. They're right now on top, dominating Monday night because of Edge's thought or child of making that Judgment Day, even though he was kicked out for other reasons. We all know the reason why. If you haven't known the reason why Edge was kicked out of Judgment Day, it wasn't because they wanted to get rid of him. Cody Rhodes' pectoral. He had that injury. They needed a baby face for that summer. Things changed with Vince's accusation being moved out, but the story was they were going to make Edge babyface again. Riddle was going to fight Roman, then Edge was going to fight Roman again, possibly then Castle, Drew, and so forth. They had guys lined up, but injuries, the sex allegations happen. Vince is out. Things change. Edge took a little bit of a hiatus and all that stuff. Things change, but that was the storyline. That's why he was kicked out of Judgment Day. It wasn't because they were changing, but that was one out of an injury came up so many possibilities and so many storylines. That's why when everyone, yes, it sucks that Charlotte got hurt with her knee and she's going to be out 9 months. But others now the storylines open up. Maybe this was all along a way for bringing now Sasha into this to help out another horsewoman, or another person gets an opportunity to get into the story that we don't expect. Maybe this is the time for Shotzi to go and take the opportunity that Charlotte's gone and get elevated and get going, or maybe Mia Yim, or Michim. Maybe she gets in that place and gets more TV time because she's not going to be there, and then she gets shown into another light of whoa. That's why there's so many good possibilities. Sometimes injuries suck, but now it's an opportunity for someone else to step up. That's in catering. That has that. You know what? We're gonna give you 30 seconds. Make like the way Bubba Ray says. If they give you 30 seconds, you make the best 30 seconds ever on your TV time. Then they'll give you 45 seconds. You make that the best 45 seconds. Then next thing you know, you're doing 15-minute matches, and then they're gonna ask you to do an Iron Woman match. That's how you get over. Not complaining and whining and bitching on social media about, oh, I don't get the TV time. Go out there. If they give you 5 minutes, they give you 5 seconds. Make it something where you're like 5 seconds. So just even if you have to do this, with like the little, just make it memorable.
Tozawa got it down, man.
Make it memorable because they want to see you do it again for another 5 seconds.
Yep.
Look at our truth. He's just killing it. With a little bit of time that he's given, but he makes it work. He's and that's where I want to bring that there with that. Also, we're seeing here when we just saw all the possibilities now with we were talking about groups now. The rumors on the group. Here's the next rumor that we're talking about. We saw Hector and Humberto Garza come up and help Legado Fantasma with Santo Escobar. We know that he has roots with NXT, of course, coming up through there. We saw on NXT, the final NXT showcase for last Tuesday, where we saw Legado LWO, Raheem and Cruz go to NXT. They're going to wrestle and team up with Dragon Lee, but they saw Elektra Lopez, La Madrina. They hugged her, they embraced her. She were introduced to Lola Vice. Lola Vice had no care whatsoever, looked at them like they had the plague, rolled their eyes. There's been rumors and teas that Lola Vice might be called up and be part of this group with Legado Fantasma. We saw also teasing with Lola Vice and that woman's breakout contract where she goes in the ring, she gives it to Elektra Lopez. Elektra holds it kind of too much, and she has to kind of like pry it off for her, like, give me, that's mine, it's not yours. So they're kind of teasing a dissension, or not dissension, but a disconnect because of that title, like a jealousy or something there that I think that's going to lead to Elektra and Lola possibly heading in the ring soon.
I mean, they have been teasing it for a while. At a certain point, Lola has to do her own thing and show the capability that she can fly on her own. It's really the true test of any wrestler. So I'm looking forward to it because I've always said this, man. I know the fans in the building, they get real enticed by the hip sways, but you got to be able to do more than that in this wrestling company.
And I always like to look at the forecast. When I mean forecast, some of the stuff behind the scenes or media stuff and production and promotion. I mentioned it yesterday. For those that listened to me yesterday, and thank you again for listening to me again back-to-back nights. When WWE had their press conference for introducing WrestleMania 39 in Los Angeles, they bought Santo Escobar, who's still in NXT at that time. They bought Lola Vice, part of that media scrum, introducing WrestleMania with Lola there. They also show when Lola was signed with the WWE, they showed her with the Money in the Bank briefcase, if you recall that famous picture that she had, and kind of teasing, foreshadowing that she was going to win some type of tournament. She did win the Women's Breakout Tournament. WWE has a lot of stock or acknowledgement of Lola Vice. Triple H said recently that he will have Trick Williams and Lola Vice in D-Generation X if they were currently right now in style or wrestling in full gear. That Lola, she could see Lola in DX and Trick in DX. So he got a blessing there from Triple H there, where I could see Lola Vice possibly getting called up. I think she's not ready personally. I would like to see her wrestle a stand and deliver. Possibly for the women's title. If she fails or not, then she could go back to go up to the main roster in the new draft coming up after that, after WrestleMania. Then that's fine. But I just want to see a little more of Lola with just she's not ready yet.
I mean, she's not ready yet, and this other person's not ready yet. But man, oh man, Trick Willie. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, Trick Williams, Trick James, bitch. Oh my god. Talking about Trick Williams. Oh man, yeah. Yeah.
Liam, what's up? We're waiting for your comments, Liam. We're waiting for your comments. I know your guys. We're waiting for the talk here. We're waiting. Joe out on the movie, so he said he couldn't join us. Joe, D-Walk working, and so this Terrence has to work tomorrow in the morning, so he said they gave their regards. But next time we do a wrestle talk again, they'll be here to have that conversation or to have that there. We're talking about all today here, all the news that came out. The MJF, Liam, just to bring you a quick rehab. MJF Players Tribune. We ask what's your thoughts if he's signing with the WWE or staying in AEW, especially reading that player tribute. Usually when players or performers put that out there, they're actually leaving, thanking their companies and giving like an exit to the fans. But what's your thoughts on that, especially tomorrow for the pay-per-view for All Elite Wrestling? His title's on the line against Samoa Joe. Anything can happen. We also talk about who's going to come out as that former world champion for night one at Raw. And we gave you the possibilities if this so and so wrestler comes out, which direction of storylines will they be incorporated? We talked about Batista, Hall of Fame. We'll talk, if he comes out to show us. If it's The Rock against Tribal Chief getting in the Royal Rumble, we saw the different possibilities of how you could explain that there. Brock Lesnar, look, coming out and going after Imperium. He wants a piece of Gunther, but Gunther isn't around because he's in paternity leave. He will be back, but he's going to take care and harass Imperium and until he gets the ring general's attention. So that's another possibility. We're also thinking about any other former champions that we're not thinking of right now that could be back in the company for a run. I'm trying to think of anyone that's not there, that's not active or is on the injured list, because Randy Orton already signed with SmackDown, so I don't see him being one of those names. I don't see any other ones. I mean, Hager stayed with the AEW, which he signed a contract, so it's not Jack Hager. I'm trying to think of people throw out Great Khali. Here's a name that I know people are gonna laugh, but he's on the Raw roster, and I don't know if that's a return. Jinder Mahal. I know people. I know.
Nah.
Oh, he said someone not on the roster. Thank you for clarifying. I did have it here. I did put it up. I did put it up. Did I read it wrong? Let's see. One former. Oh, a former. But yeah, but former champion could be. Still doesn't say that he was on the. It could be a former champion that's still on the roster. You could
Isn't Jinder the manager of
in this year, but he still wrestles. He still wrestles. He's a wrestler, but he's doing managerial, like kind of teaching them the way as a manager, but as a wrestling manager.
But aren't they already showing themselves on SmackDown?
Yeah. Here we go. Drew and Seth at day one, former world champion. I'm here to show the world. Yeah, returning Dolph Ziggler. Because he is. I mean, just because they were released, they could be re-signed for a different deal, just to give. That could be it. You never thought about that, Robert. Good to see you again, Robert. He was joining us last night as well. Good job to see Robert on the. We also said, we also said Brock. And you said non-roster. We mentioned The Rock because of the Make-A-Wish situation. I'm trying to think of other Mercedes Moné coming back to back there because they mentioned that both parties are apart money wise, as I'm going to put that here. Of course, we also saw her trademark a lot of different things with Monet and so forth. Could be to take people out of the scent, and she'll get that money back with the WWE with the trademark. Although she wants to keep it just in case, maybe she will come back as Mercedes Monet. Mercedes the Bank, Monet or something, or whatever. So you never know. We got Hall and Nash return, and they were Diesel and Razor Ramon. You never know, but I think that's to take people off the scent. Ooh, always ready, Matt Cardona, the indie god. But I don't think he was a former world champion. But Randy, I think he will be at the Royal Rumble. I think he's going to be a Royal Rumble entry. Wouldn't be surprised. His wife is there. Wife is doing phenomenal job. Chelsea. Wouldn't see a one off with Matt Cardona there. Absolutely. Tampa. He lives here. He lives 10 minutes away from my house. Heading down south. Not that far. Down the road. I know exactly where it is. Where my Cardona lives in Chelsea. Yeah. One of these days, we're gonna probably be at the red light and see. We'll probably wave at him and go woo woo woo, and you know it. Randy says 50-50. So I asked that question. What are your thoughts on with that tribute says 50-50 for NJF? I'm 55 AEW, 45 elsewhere WWE. Yeah. Good point. This is gonna really want to make you watch Monday Night Raw because, and the thing was, a former world champion, not a. Did he say that? Let's look at that tweet again because we're really dissecting it, and I love it. This is what I like about this kind of interaction. Former WWE champion. See, if you would have left it a former champion and MJF not signing, I think that's what Triple H made a mistake. Then you'll be like, yo, day one. Yo, imagine if MJF shows up on Monday Night Raw day one, but he put former WWE champion, was like, that was a little bit of a moment there. If we would have just left as a former champion or a world champion, then you'd be like, oh, damn, you would be like, ooh, who could it be?
Mhm.
Or who? Any chance Big E?
Possibility. I mean, we've been waiting for his return for a while too.
Absolutely, we've been waiting for him. Although we haven't heard much, but they showed a couple footage there of teasing with and Big New Day mentioned Big E. Shout out to him. Could it be that Big E returns there, and now Big E? What's up, Chris? Chris, you got the link there. I sent you that earlier. What happens if it's Big E returning? Where now we saw Imperium having issues with New Day as well, and now Big E to even up the 3-on-3, where and maybe that holds Brock and Gunther for the Rumble, and then we have a 6-man with Imperium and New Day, and then we have the Brock and Big E, Brock and Gunther for WrestleMania, and you could push that a little bit back. If we bring Big E back into the fold, he's ready to clear to wrestle.
I would more than welcome it because, like
I
you
will
said,
mark out.
yeah, him back with the New Day. Oh man, come on now.
I will mark out if it comes out on Monday night, and we will have a watch along too. So we hope you guys watch along with us on that night one. We'll definitely have that watch along. We'll have more. We're gonna have a nice group to watch along with us, and if it's him, boy, I'm gonna mark out because it's great to see Biggie back in there if he returns. How crazy! We are more. We here. No more words. Oh my God, Jeff and Matt back in the Hardy Boys, but they haven't been released, Randy. If the Hardy Boys return, I can see a WrestleMania moment for them, like we saw them when they returned both last time. We didn't expect them out of nowhere. Where when the Hardy Boys music came out, we're like, oh, I think it was two WrestleManias ago, the Hardy Boys
Might have
returned.
3 WrestleManias ago.
Yeah, that was fun. Yes, indeed. As Randy says, hello to Chef Dan as well. Thank you, Randy, for joining us this evening. Wow, that would be phenomenal. No one expects that. And that'll be another nice nostalgia run there. And let me go back here to Randy. Randy Samuel mentioned and said, "Oh, okay, TK. I don't know, but let me do this for one time. Apparently, the Jericho. I don't know. It's in Tampa, Randy, but I don't think Jericho's got his nose so much up Tony Khan's rectum that he's smelling what he's having for lunch as it comes down his throat. So I don't think we'll see Jericho in the WWE though. Yes, we did talk about that. We mentioned that possibly working relationship with Stardom and the WWE as well as All Japan Wrestling, and opening up the doors there, ingratiating the WWE into the Japanese market. not stepping on toes, but help working with these companies where, you know what, we're going to send some of these women to work with you. And maybe one of the ambassadors out there for Stardom for the WWE will be Mika Saramoto. If we see Mika Saramoto show up at Stardom, we know that they're working. Where right now we saw Charlie Dempsey being given the green light and the okay to go and participate in the tournament in All Japan Wrestling. Now we think it's next will be Mika Saramoto in Stardom. Well, you know, we know that Wrestle Kingdom is coming up soon. That's coming up in a couple days. Possibly Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. Usually the beginning of January. So that's going to be fun for New Japan Wrestling there. Will Ospreay, of course, probably finishing up his obligations for New Japan, unless they got something to do on the Valley show coming up. Big Show in Tampa. I think Big Show is behind the scenes creative, working with All Elite, which means nothing because he doesn't listen to any of his creative. But Big Show, I who never know. Big Show, new GM of Raw by Hunter shaking his hand. Hell has frozen over. But Adam Pearce has done a good job, though. I like Adam Pearce in that role, though. Adam Pearce make a hell of a nice role there. I like his role. He finally has a GM that is not feel like it's a puppet, even though he is, but he feels like an authority with Nick Aldis. And again, we're talking about Nick Aldis. We mentioned it yesterday how we would like to see Nick Aldis being teased if he comes into the ring. I would love Nick Aldis to be going up against Gunther if it's not Brock at WrestleMania. That to me is like, ooh, that makes. But I don't know if the crowd or the WWE universe knows a lot about Nick Aldis. Diehards do, but not the casual. Jack Hayes, Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page. Is he? You know what? I think he's Hall of Famer. Can we Google that? Can we find out if Dallas.DDP is in the Hall of Fame? Oh, let's see. Because we found out yesterday, and to our surprise, Demolition not in the Hall of Fame, the WWE Hall of Fame, which they're one of the longest reigning tag team champions, and not in the Hall of Fame. That's a disservice. DDP. And we'll find that out because we want to see that. I think he went in. I think he did. Yeah, he was inducted in 2017. Yes. So Diamond Dallas Page is a Hall of Famer. They say former world champion. I don't think he won the world title in WWE. I think that was more a WCW world champion. Lucas, what's going on, Lucas? Jack Hager. Yeah, we mentioned that. Well, former world champion Jack Hager. But he did sign a contract extension with All Elite Wrestling, Lucas. I don't know if it'll be him.
He did hold the title for WWF, not WWE.
Oh, so it's a former champion. That's okay. That still crosses over. Okay. No, that's still.
Wait,
but I think doesn't he? Go ahead.
Wait. Never mind.
All right. What if it's the world champion of Rikishi?
You never know.
Never know. Rikishi trying to settle family affairs there, where maybe he comes in and tries to make peace with his sons, and where I remember they were talking about him trying to, and we were talking actually in the Rumble. Like we said, who we want to be 1 and 2 or have them in there. Oh, you know what? Damn, you hit it on the head. We never talked about former champion AJ Lee.
That could be.
Damn. We didn't mention that name. We talked about all these world champion and the scenario of her coming back with Punk, immediately with a feud with Becky, if you want to go that route, because they're not getting along there, where it's going to entice the husbands to want to wrestle. Don't want to see a mixed tag match, but want to see the one-on-one in WrestleMania. But man, that's another way of bringing night one. Did not think about that. Great one, Randy. See, that's why we encourage the major anticipation from the chat, because you guys were bringing it yesterday and you're now starting to bring it now, which is great. That was phenomenal. Hunter never confirmed it was a female. No, he never mentioned male or female. He never mentioned it. He never mentioned more than one, because he could bring AJ, could bring Batista as a Hall of Famer. He could tease us first with the Batista announcing as a Hall of Famer, and everybody's like, wah, wah, wah. And then here we go. There you go. You never know. Rhea's face, hardcore country, Mickey James. There we go. Mickey James again. Make absolutely, yeah, absolutely, because she was already invited to be as a tag partner by Fallon Henley in the NXT brand, and she said at Busted Open she will love to mentor Fallon Henley in NXT, hardcore country with another country girl in NXT. She said she was very giggly, very bubbly when that was mentioned. It says, "Blake goes, plus my husband works there." So you never know. Oh, here's another one. Damn, you guys see, this is why I need the chat, that interaction. Mandy Rose. Enough with the crap. Bring her back. It's toxic. Former world champion can be Dudley Boys. Oh, Dudley Boys Devon, who just had a baby. His wife had a baby, so he needs money. He's got 18. He's got to buy diapers and formula now, so he needs to get back in the ring, taking some bumps, and you never know. Yo, it's very interesting. Absolutely.
It
Great
is.
conversation. Great conversation. Keep it coming.
I mean, I wouldn't be so sure that it is Mandy Rose, because that one feels a little too soon. And if there's anything you would do, you'd be bringing her back to NXT, not to Raw.
You could still bring it to NXT, to the Raw and NXT. Here's the reason. You still have Otis.
Okay.
You have Otis. There's history with Otis. Yeah, yeah. One word: competition matters. Competition always matters. Without the competition, it'll be just monopoly. Um, this is yo. I didn't think about Mandy Rose, and AJ Lee was the best one. AJ Lee
Yeah,
just went. AJ Lee totally, because that opens up the possibility, not just the way. And again, we talked about this yesterday, Chef. WWE. We heard today just now. It was Stardom, working with Stardom, All Japan Wrestling. Now the parent company of WWE is Endeavor, has now working relationship and brought onto their platform TNA. You could get the TNA app for, you could pay $9 a month, similar to W app, and you get all the done and working under the same umbrella. Scott D'Amore, who is the president of TNA Wrestling, said that they're going to have a Worlds Collide Hard to Kill pay per view, where it's going to be whoa moment. I can see where we're gonna, and we talked about it yesterday, where WWE wrestlers, like the minor ones that are not really doing much, go to TNA and work with TNA. Also in the Royal Rumble, one off and all that, and of course, yeah, they have that one off situation where they could come at the Rumble for nostalgia and they could back and forth. I think this is the beginning of TNA working with WWE.
that's very it's very positive, very important, because at the end of the day, we know that the wrestlers, they do a lot of character work behind the scenes to see what would work, but at the end of the day, you have to do it in front of a crowd. And like we said before, you only get with the WWE 7 hours of TV time. And that may sound like a lot, but in actuality, when breaking it apart throughout the week, 7 hours throughout a whole week is really nothing.
No,
That's not even a complete work day, because you work really for 8 hours.
right. And not only that, you get them allowed to have wrestling bumps there. Some of the guys, some of the male and females, if they go back and forth. But just thinking the Rumble, we were talking about this yesterday. I wish you, man, but we're gonna mark out again because for the guys, I know you heard it, but Chef wasn't here. Oh, imagine Kirk Angle managing the Creed brothers. I actually wanted Sheldon Benjamin, Randy, since before he got released. Damn, Sheldon Benjamin, go down to the Diamond Mine, get these guys in shape, get them working similar, and I wanted to see that there. Here's the one I was talking about. Let me get Chris for a minute. What's up, Chris?
What's up, y'all?
All right, how you doing?
Good. I would have been joined y'all, but somebody wanted me to join their stream for baseball, so I did that.
All right, you went to Mikey, which he doesn't send a link to this guy here, but that's another conversation for another day. So here we go. I don't know. It looks. I must be a leopard of working with other content creators. But let's go with this here. We were talking about in the Rumble if they have that Worlds Collide where TNA works together with WWE, where you have Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey one off stand in front of the ring in face to face. Chef Dan, the possibilities if they have that Forbidden Door or matchups where they could do a United pay per view.
That would be amazing. But and once again, that would lend to the sports aspect of wrestling, which I think they need to go back to a little bit more, because as much as the storylines work, sometimes having a fabricated storyline, like to have like, oh, this guy because he betrayed me during this moment of the set, whatever. Nah, sometimes we just want to see two very, very good athletes go at it. And I'm like, we like even at the end of the day, like as you're watching it, we know, yes, the result may be predetermined, but because you're not sharing the result with us beforehand, it's not like we know until we just go in saying, hey, we know for a fact this guy is going to win. Especially a matchup like that, Speedball versus Ricochet, I don't really know who wins that matchup.
No, in the Rumble as a one-off at the Royal Rumble. Oof. Oof. Let me read this quick comment and I'll let you go, Chris. I'll let you go. I have your couple seconds here with your statement. Ken Shamrock, yeah, I think he signed a Legends contract, Jeff. Yeah, he is with the WWE, but maybe they might put him on at the Hall of Fame. He might be getting inducted. He might be a name that be in between will be put in the Hall of Fame for Ken Shamrock, who was a very important wrestler. I think I enjoyed Ken Shamrock's run in the WWE in the Attitude Era. Go ahead, Chris. We were talking about former Triple H made that comment about a former world champion coming. We mentioned a couple names and we put it in how it relates to a storyline. Who would you be definitely like to see come out there with the? Mhm.
I was about to say, I heard some people bring up some females. What if they bring Melina back?
Former world champion? Was she a former world champion? But is that okay? Tell me how again. And when I mentioned that, we talked about multiverse of realities with these wrestlers returning. Chris, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the wrestlers we mentioned. Where one of the first name was Brock Lesnar. If Brock Lesnar comes out, and how do you incorporate him in a storyline currently right now? In day one, make that big deal with the crowd. He's going after Gunther, but Gunther's on vacation sabbatical. He goes after Imperium and beats the crap out of them where they're injured and says, I want your boss. And he wants him and he wants a match with him. I want to end because I ended the Undertaker streak. I need to end this longevity streak. I want Gunther in Rumble or at WrestleMania. That's how you get into the core storyline currently right now. The same thing with when it comes to and I'm gonna give Randy a lot of credit. He mentioned AJ Lee, which I totally didn't think about. AJ Lee, how could you incorporate in the storyline? Seth Rollins' wife, Becky Lynch. They could have a feud going in there for, and feuding. And that's how you incorporate her in the storyline. Royal Rumble, welcome back. And then she gets, into some tussles with Becky. Then it's gonna really lead with the husbands. We want to wrestle and we're gonna get that Seth and Punk with The Rock. I mentioned The Rock coming back. He mentioned he wanted to do the Make a Wish Foundation. You put him in the storyline. He's entering the Rumble. He wins the Rumble, whatever the case. He wants to go up against his cousin Legacy with the Tribal Chief. Now he's bothering Ava Rain, Paul Heyman, trying to recruit. Get away from my daughter. All that stuff, storyline wise, invested with the bloodline, with the situation, and all that good stuff. That's also another way of incorporating him to the current WWE storyline. Now, with the lady, I want to see from your part, Melina, how you're going to incorporate her in the storyline. Give me your thoughts. I'm giving you the pencil. This is freestyle, creative. Be creative. It's okay. No, there's no wrong answer.
I was about to say, what if you revisit if she comes back? What if her and Sasha do something together?
But Sasha's not back yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what if because this is just what if.
Okay, no, it's what if. All right.
Yeah.
So then Sasha's returning when? In your multiverse of reality, when is Sasha returning?
Probably, I would think this the same instance as Melina, the Royal Rumble, because
No, no. Okay, great. I'm gonna hold you for a moment. It's night one this Monday night at Monday Night Raw. Let me rehash you. Maybe again, maybe I'm not doing the right way of explaining. Earlier this evening, there's been rumors that WWE said that a former world champion will be appearing Monday Night Raw on day one. Stay
okay,
tuned. Triple H says, I'm not going to confirm or deny the rumors. We're speculating on who is that champion returning and how he fits this current storyline. If he's, and I also said, we also mentioned Batista. Batista comes out. How is he in the current storyline, BX? He's being announced as the first entry of 2024 class of the Hall of Fame.
okay,
So now you can change your answer. You want to stick with Melina, you can. Also, they
okay. What if
mentioned Mandy Rose, former champion, returning. I know you a big fan of Randy. Definitely.
what about Bo?
Bo Dallas.
Yeah, what about Bo? He
I'm
was he
glad you
was
mentioned that.
he was a former champion, a world champion. I mean, NXT is still a world
That's still
champion,
still
and
world champion. Richard,
yeah,
let me yeah, you know what, Bo. And we're gonna talk about Bo right this instant. I'm glad Chef Dan is back, but let me read Richard's chats. Oh my god, you said Hunter does something unexpected, lights goes out. Hunter hires the Undertaker as a full deal as co-GM, like Bischoff back then, former world champion. We've seen the Undertaker because he's always involved with the one man shows or the dead man show right before an event. He's very associated with WWE. We saw him in at the NXT Mania that I would call it in October. You never.
hmm
That's a good name that could be thrown out there. Definitely. And then Chris just made a good one. Bo Dallas. I know you watched it as well as me and Chef Dan watched it. There's a YouTube video with Bo Dallas keeping the legacy of the White Six alive. Chef Dan, you want to break that down narrative or you go
I
for it?
was hoping I could actually share it on screen so we could all watch it and
I don't
react.
know. I don't know if we could get copyrighted.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
that'd
so
be
I'm
fire.
so
Because
I'm so afraid of what happened a
I
couple
know,
weeks ago that I would if we didn't have that I would have said go for it, but I'm afraid of it. This time will be 2 weeks off, and now wrestling is about to get hot. I can't have the 2 weeks chance. That's the only negative about it. I would love to.
I
I
know.
definitely, but I'm afraid. Someone said Dolph Ziggler. That could
I
be.
hope
We
not.
mentioned that too. We mentioned that too because he could come back on a cheaper contract. Damn man, Chef, I want to share it too, man. Dude, I don't know if we could or not.
Because
It is.
we're all in agreement. That was a big ass video.
I mean,
It was.
it's a YouTube video. That's why I was saying I don't like,
Yeah,
it's not music or anything behind it, and it is YouTube. I don't know. YouTube is funny that way though.
They've been acting weird. They made me sign some stuff and all that crap. Recently. Oof. Do you think something Bo choked out Hunter like Bray used to do? Long term selling. Hmm. Damn. I don't know, Chef. What do you think?
All of these are really good, but at the end of the day, I think it boils down to either someone who's being inducted into the Hall of Fame or someone who's about to continue a storyline that's already present. I mean, not really. You're gonna continue a storyline, but you're also injecting yourself, so you're kind of adding a new flavor. So with that
well,
being said, I don't know who adds any continuity. It kind of more so lends me to believe that just maybe it'll just be a Hall of Fame inductee that night.
yeah, but
Hmm.
I thought Bray was one of them. Huh?
But why would you say he's a former champion will be there and then he's is and to induct Bray though?
Bo. That's
I
why
mean,
I would say Bo.
you can't say Bray because then the only thing you would say for him to be there is like he's here in spirit with us. But even then, that's like subjective, and you really can't say that.
Yeah, no, Bo, unless if Bo is bringing that Y6, but why would you announce him like he's coming back and then he does his evil stuff? Bo, I could see Bo come out at SmackDown Revolution where we're carrying Cross. If you watch the video that we watched that all three of us watched, they actually showed Karrion Kross and Scarlett with that mask that we saw as well in that video, where they started showing a vignette recently with we all think it's Authors of Pain, but maybe it's the Wyatt Six type of deal with Karrion Kross and stuff like that, Chris. Maybe you're onto something, but maybe that's not what night one. Maybe that's something we'll see in SmackDown Revolution.
I mean, that's very plausible because they do a lot of the showmanship in on Monday Night Raw. A lot of the showmanship stuff is and a lot of the guest appearances happen on Monday Night Raw. And then you kind of happen later on throughout the week. You know, you find out later on throughout the week what's happening in Friday Night SmackDown. So that one,
All right. I mean, damn. It's so many, but you know what? It's got us talking. It's got us talking, debating, and asking questions, and opening up these worms, all these multiverse of reality or possibilities of storylines, which is something that if wrestling is doing that right now, they're hitting on cylinders, and especially WWE when it comes to storytelling, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
so
agree.
man, imagine Mandy Rose. I don't think it's a woman though. The only big woman that out there like that will bring that is kind of Sasha. Alexa,
I
but
don't
she's
know.
not ready yet, Jerry. She's not ready yet. She just she's still on that
AJ,
maternity. She's still in that
I,
post. Yeah, we mentioned AJ Lee. Yeah, AJ. That's right.
I think
That's right.
AJ's a bigger name. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Sasha, but
Right.
trust me, if AJ comes out, it's gonna be a huge pop.
Alexa's another name that will top that, but she's still out of maternity, and Carmella as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Both ladies are not ready yet to return. They're not even working out in ring or shape. She's still their babies are still young, where I don't think they'll really to leave there yet. I think you're talking about September for maybe these two ladies, for Carmella and Alexa, if that.
Well, I know Mandy. I know Mandy was answering questions, and one person did ask her if you ever would back to WWE. She said, "Never say never."
You can't deny or confirm. I mean, I mean, Alexa returning, like, whoa, okay, adding some more flavor to the women's division, but just think about it. She's not ready yet. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of the male champions there. But that you said about Dolph Ziggler returning back to the company. That's another one there. Even though he has commitments for um in January in Puerto Rico, but Dolph Ziggler, for them to put this on social media to confine or deny, it kind of will be a Royal Rumble entry. It's more of a Royal Rumble, and then Rhea hits Navi lights out, just light up plays, and BX Glass is gonna break. Anybody think Stone Cold? I mean, but everybody wants to see Stone Cold and Punk. I really don't. I think Stone Cold is great. What he does short term. He had a good match against Kevin Owens. He's gonna only be
I like that
60.
match.
I wouldn't want to see it. I'm sorry.
No, that should have happened. That should have happened when Punk was champion when they was doing the thing with the game. That's when it should have happened.
Yeah, but it's too late because I want to see
Yeah,
Punk
it's too
have a
late
match
now.
with. It's a little too late. It will be nice, maybe, but I kind of want to leave Stone Cold's mystique alone. He had that good one with Owens. Leave it alone. I don't want to see him against Punk. Then
Yeah,
you're asking a generated Punk to lay down for Stone Cold, or do you really want him to Stone? Yeah, it's so many negative things that will. I mean, it'll be great for us, but I don't know. Oh wait. Drew and him was a group in back then in TNA, right? Punk and Drew, they didn't like each other, so that maybe that's something next there. Any chance Drew McIntyre becomes world champion?
no,
I'm about to say no.
I don't
Yeah,
see it.
because
Yeah,
we were mentioning that Drew, Seth, and Punk don't need a title for WrestleMania to headline to fight one another. That will sells itself, but still, I kind of want to see. I kind of don't want to see Drew beat Seth unless if I mention if Seth that night all of a sudden Damien cashes in and he's the champion over Drew, real short one, and then he somehow Rollins gets it back before WrestleMania and then against Punk. Well, we never know. Drew and Seth for the title they won. Someone in a mask attacked Seth Rollins. Oh, we're gonna do the AEW devil mask here. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, could be Punk, and everybody thinks it's Punk attacking Rollins. We could do that too. We could do that too. Where everybody says that's got to be CM Punk attacking Seth freaking Rollins. And damn, man, that just got me thinking. Who the hell could be? We know ain't gonna be Flair because Flair's stuck with AEW or signed a contract with them, so ain't gonna be Ric Flair. And we know Randy is on SmackDown. We were trying to think about who is because Triple H is throwing this nugget out there for something to, and I think it has to be Batista. It has to be Batista or The Rock, man. In my opinion.
Once again, it's either storyline or world or Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
For me, I'm sorry, it makes more sense for Hall of Fame because the storylines on Raw are really, really good right now.
I'll tell you right now, if it's The Rock, that would be crazy.
Everybody takes a step back. The whole card. I mentioned it earlier.
That's gonna be crazy if that's The Rock.
That's the whole storyline gets pushed back. Goes pushed back immediately.
And I'm not gonna lie,
everybody.
I love Cody, but I would do that for him. For The Rock, yeah.
Yeah, it makes money because then you can have, and I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna rehash it again. I'll have Cody win the Money in the Bank. Have Money in the Bank. He has that Money in the Bank to cash in whenever he wants. He can cash in at Rumble, in the War Games matchup. One-on-one there. He could won a War Games match against Roman, and in next year's Survivor Series, he already eclipsed Hogan. He's already the longevity, and then have Cody win it there. And he has that moment there, and in a match that his father made in War Games against where nobody from the family, no tribal chief, no interference from the family. No Usos, nobody, no Ananoli, nobody, no Fatus, nobody. It's just Cody Roman in War Games in a match my father created for that undisputed world title. He goes over, cashes in. That's the moment. If you want to go that route with Cody winning. And then what a way to close 2024, for the WWE. If you want to go that route. If The Rock decides to come in and deters the whole plans of what WWE has in store for Philadelphia.
Yeah, because that's the only way. Because Rock is the only one
that would kill. That would, and that's the way you do it. That's how you recuperate. Because and then, Chris, we mentioned yes. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Also said Big E returning back. Big E returns. He's part of New Day. They have an issue with Imperium. Imperium has Gunther. Big E. Now you could set up a 6-man tag for the Rumble. Imperium. Whatever storyline they have against New Day. Big E's return. They pin one of the members of Imperium. New Day continues to rock, and the storyline is with Imperium that the discontent or bothersome there, and Big E's back. Maybe that's the way to go too. Oh, he also won the title at day one. Look at that nugget. Biggie did win the title in day one. And he returns day one. Will be astonishing.
That would be,
That's it.
Yo,
right there, Jerry.
That's long-term storybooking.
Good job, Jerry.
I'm not gonna lie. Y'all got my hopes up. Not for Biggie, but like AJ, Batista, The Rock, and then y'all say Biggie. And I'm not hating on Biggie, but that's probably what's gonna happen if that does happen. It might be Biggie.
I said I'll mark out. I said it. I said I'll mark out for Big E if he comes out there. Oh, holla! If you hear me, I will be eating pancakes on a stream on one of these Wrestle Talks, and I'll be sitting here eating pancakes. Oh yes. You gotta think. What if this Ridge thing is for Biggie to get revenge? Oh, yo, didn't think about that.
Rich
Yo,
Imperium, that's yeah, that's different.
yo. Right, because now Ridge is with Imperium, a fourth member, because Imperium is strong fourth, and Butch right now gets Tyler Bates, and then Sheamus returns, and you have those three. And then they could Gunther will be too busy, and you have those. Oh yes, yo, you're cooking today, Jerry. You're cooking.
Now,
Why did they
who?
do the neck thing on Ridge there in NXT? Because and Ilya didn't sell the broken neck anyway. Ilya took the neck brace, started doing all this, looked like Jose Canseco whipping his neck all over the place. He wanted to be at the Roxbury's and doing the rock, he all we needed to play was what
I
is
love that
love.
moment.
Maybe
I
we
love
should
that
do that in
moment.
NXT. What is love? And we shall do the next Roxbury's on as the crowd. See if I get them to do that for Ilya because he did not sell that neck injury. That was terrible on
I
his part.
I I wanted to ask, do we know who's going to be in the Hall of Fame? Because so far, I only know two people: Batista and Bray.
Nobody's been mentioned. Nope.
But
Bray
we
might be
know those
made
two for sure.
Bray is going to be probably next year because they don't know how much of a fresh wound it is if the family's ready to be seen in public with the fans to induct their the late fallen family member. If they I don't know if they're ready to take on that crowd of the tear jerking moment. That I think this Hall of Fame is going to be ECW full of inductees because they're in Philadelphia. That's just my opinion. I didn't hear it. I'm just having a feeling because I don't think the family's ready yet. This is not. It
I
wasn't.
know
It's not
a
even a
lot of
year.
people speculating. A lot of people speculating saying is Bray might be inducted this year.
And look, I'm not against it. He belongs in the Hall of Fame,
Yeah,
but I think the nostalgia moment, it's going to be a little too much right now. The family is not even a year for them to. They just probably getting over the grieving and missing. They just went through the holidays without him, so right now that's another open door wound of pain for them of grief. Now you're gonna ask him to come in WrestleMania, where he was, something that they work for their whole business to come after they just getting over the holidays without daddy, without husband, without brother, without son, and then to bring him back again. That's a roller coaster of emotion for the family. Think about it. That's a big roller coaster. He should be honored, but damn, that's a lot to ask for that family. Yes, we wish Monday was coming, but it's coming soon. We don't have to. No, let's not rush it because the quicker Monday comes, the quicker I got to get back to work, and I don't want that. Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's when
yo,
you
this
vacationing?
no, I got another
Uh,
week and a half after that. But that's the less days getting off the calendar, man. I don't
I'm
want
not
to do that.
lying.
That's less days. I don't want. I need to
I
stay.
can't wait for the Royal Rumble.
It's gonna be great. Now
Um,
we saw the. Speaking of the Rumble, we saw the Reddick names out there. We had Xbox at number 10. People there. Any folks? We saw Carmelo Hayes from representing NXT. No Braun Breaker, by the way.
yeah, I thought that was weird.
Yeah, we mentioned that, Jerry. That's where that's what been our conversation of the former world champion. Who could it be entering the rumble, entering not the rumble, entering the on Monday. That's what this whole conversation has been, Jerry, about that. Who could it be? And we talked about we talked about vaguely about Stardom and New All Japan Wrestling and all that other stuff as well, part of the rumors. But we're in the creative pencil part of it. The Rumble. I kind of want to see Braun Breaker in there, of course. But
Of course.
if he's going to be elevated, he has to go out there and just spear like about five people, man, before getting eliminated or whatever the case is. I need him in that Rumble. If he's going to be elevated to the main roster, if he's not going to come in and make an impact against Gunther and wrestle him or the United States champion, whoever that be, then you have to have him in the Rumble, show out like, oh damn, this kid is something. I know we know Carmelo Hayes is going to probably be in the Rumble. Any chance Trick Williams?
Nah,
Yeah, I think that's a little too
nah,
early. Huh?
too early.
Okay, is in Tampa.
Nah,
It's not a lot of traveling for them. Not a lot of traveling. So about from us from Performance Center to Tampa is an hour. It's like going from where you live in Brooklyn to the Bronx Zoo. That's
Still not.
drive wise. That's a short ride.
yeah,
It is
I
a
agree with
short
Chef
ride,
on
but
this
I
one.
just once again I think Braun is closer to that than Trick.
Imagine that Scott Steiner with Braun on day one. Oh, yo,
He is a former champion.
he is a former champion. He brings out Braun Breaker. My nephew gonna tear 2020. Oh my goodness! But I don't think that's what Triple H had in mind. But
Kev will mark out. Kev.
Hall of Famer. No, for that and Biggie. I think
Oh man.
anyone that comes out will be a surprise, a pleasant surprise though. It'll be a hell of a surprise. The Batista. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna feel so great.
That's probably the
Um,
least name I don't want to see. Like I said, Biggie, but
I
it'll
mean,
probably be
it's good for
Batista.
him. Batista to me will be okay. But I was saying earlier, Chris, it might be a swerve, double swerve. They'll bring Batista, announce him, and then the real return of the champion is afterwards, like they did with Punk. And we had Randy
Yeah.
Orton and then Punk. Um, yeah, Dan is hoping is AJ Lee. We're all hoping is AJ Lee, though. Because we felt her story wasn't really completed in the WWE when she left. Even though
Yeah.
she left, yeah, that's cool
And
with
once
me.
again, I think she was more helpful to the revolution towards women wrestling
Hmm.
than than Paige was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. But Paige still has the record. Again, I mentioned it last night, and I'm gonna say it again. She's a trios champion. She takes two. She take on two at a time, and she's a champion at that.
I'm done. Oh, man.
That's Xavier
I'm not.
Woods.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, would it be something that AJ comes back? Because she was Divas champion, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's never been the women's champion. Like, that's motivation to come back and get one of
Absolutely.
those titles.
And not only that, here's the business aspect of it. AJ Lee, I believe, has some executive producer or a part of Women's of Wrestling. Wow. Where personally, if they want to rebound and get these women into the WWE as well, we see working relationship, the Tonga twins, phenomenal wrestlers, actor wrestlers. They're Samoans, of course. You could bring them as a tag team, get them in there, and revitalize. You could have so many different possibilities there. Jeff Hardy, hey, I mean, would you give him can Manny? Here's the question I asked for Jeff Hardy. Nothing wrong with Jeff. Would you want to bring him back as that Heroes Welcome the way he walked out of WWE? I will bring him back, yes, but a WrestleMania moment, a Royal Rumble appearance, but not a stop the press moment. I don't think Jeff deserved it the way he walked out of the company. That's just me. But it doesn't mean I don't want him back in the WWE. If he wants to come back for a goodbye run, why not? Again, a WrestleMania one with his brother, the way they came out a couple years ago, but not for night one for that kind of a stage where everyone's stopping and having and speculating and talking. I think would be very, very anticlimactic for a person that doesn't deserve it, in my opinion. Yeah, he's frustrated. I don't blame him for being frustrated. I don't blame him whatsoever because he is Jeff Damn Hardy. He should be out there wrestling tag team match. God, I mean they are really good. Him and his brother, they should be out there. They just didn't use that. But again, I don't think that guy deserved that for that night one moment that we're trying to stop the press for. It's about something that's going to stop the press. Again, Chris, I said if Triple H didn't say a former WWE, just a former heavyweight champion, you could speculate MJF. And then you really talk about people talking and wanted to tune in if he would have not said WWE champion.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. Man, I'm just
Ooh.
trying to think who would it be that it's so many options that you
I
can go
love
to.
that big. I love that Big E one because of the night one references. To me, it touches the heart because it's a feel good moment. Okada, but I don't think Okada never won a WWE title. If he would, again, Manny, if he would have said champion, you could even put Okada. You could put Max in there. Damn.
But then here's the thing, though. Like, you can't. He would never do that. They're ready to do partnerships with other companies, but what they would never, ever, ever do is recognize another company's championship.
Hunter's tricky. Yes, he is tricky because he said he also cannot confirm or deny. I did say champion, but I mean, my goodness. It's funny if he brings out Shawn Michaels.
I was thinking that too. I was thinking that.
He brings out Shawn Michaels on day one. He goes, "Who do you expect?" And being them typical DX faction, who do you think you expect? Oh my god!
What about Charlotte Flair's husband?
He's not there. He's still not officially
I didn't know.
done.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He's been rumored though. No, you did mention because I have that. We highlighted a little bit earlier. People in WWE expecting Andrade Alito to return to the company, but Andrade wants to first go on a CML run in Mexico, have a couple matches there because he knows once he's locked up for the WWE, he would be complete just a WWE competitor. And it makes sense for him to return to WWE because now he could be with his wife with the rehabbing situation. Help her with the rehab. Yeah. We're getting her back in shape. They both live in Orlando. Go to the performance center. Be there for his muñequita, like he says. And then he's with the WWE as well. All works together, you know. So never know. And also, kudos to for Selena signing an extension. So she is not going to AEW. Don't expect her no House of Black or none of that. She is going to stay in WWE, sign another 3-year deal, contract extension along with Cody Rhodes, Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio, and many more wrestlers signed some extensions with the WWE. WWE is locking up their talents before the 2024 fiasco or free agency where we all know that there's going to be money being thrown around now with the emergence of TNA. And of course, and I'm glad you mentioned that. You never know, NXT roster invades Raw roster, or TNA could invade Monday Night Raw or wrestling roster now that they're working together at the parent company with in Denver. You could have something similar to that where it's going to help TNA get off the snide where people want to watch and especially, you know, 2024 is going to be crazy, guys. From night one Revolution, then Hard to Kill. I think that has a lot to do with where they're telling us story wise. And then tomorrow, with the MJF future, let's say they corny it up, you know, because I think Miro and Andrade, I think it's Andrade's last commitment to AEW before he goes on that Mexico run, and as well as we all know, Sean Spears really has finished up his deal. QT Marshall finished up his deal. He's a free agent. There's other names we saw, you know, the released wrestlers now can make appearances if they want to return back to the WWE. We all know that top dollars in GCW, and so forth. So interesting time for 2024. Oh, if AJ Lee, are you gonna do the meme, Manny? Manny's gonna be the kid with the guy with the meme with the tears. Big E, I'm gonna mark out. I'm gonna be so happy for him. Oh, never thought about that. Alex Hammerstone, but not recognizable to the WWE audience. We do because you guys mentioned it, and I went and looked to see his matches. Phenomenal. But he's not a former WWE champion. But I could see an Alex Hammerstone joining the Royal Rumble, and we don't know if he's a one-off or he continues like the way Nia Jax. Remember how Nia Jax came at the Rumble, and then couple months later, she returned, making good relationships. Hey, go finish up your obligations, and we got something for you, Alex. I mean, you never know, Alexander. So you never know with Alex Hammerstone. He could be there. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else before? If not, we could call it a night if you want. Any other names out there? Any other possibility? Because we'll definitely, because we don't want to get too ahead because we still got Royal Rumble. After our reaction to Monday, especially New Year's Evil, if Trick Williams become world champion, and then we have of course, the Revolution on SmackDown. Beth Phoenix could be returning. Just because Edge is in the AEW doesn't mean that Beth Phoenix could not be coming at WWE. That's a name that's out there, but I don't know. He got her out there. Interesting to see if it's Beth Phoenix, but damn, it looks like it'll be AJ Lee. We don't know who else it is. Any other final thoughts? Nope. Chris, any final thoughts for you? Oh, all right. So we'll see.
Yeah,
We'll see that. That's where little wrestling news and rumors. Any other wrestling rumors that we could think of? Let me refresh before we get the hell out of here. Make sure Beth and Natalia has a tag team. If they should have done that from the beginning, when she was teasing with Lucas, she should have done that with when Edge was there. It says Mercedes Moné no longer talks with WWE about return. I don't believe that one bit. That's to take you off the scent. It's the same thing with CM Punk and WWE. They were nowhere to gear each other. I don't believe it. Kudos for Roxanne Perez returning back to reality of wrestling. Working over the Christmas vacation there with Booker T School. They had a nice event. Good job for her. Congratulations to Shotzi. She got married in Las Vegas. So Shotzi is off the market now, ladies and gentlemen. So she is a married woman. Let me see if anything else is out there. Before we get out of here, there is still over 1,000 tickets to be sold in Nassau Coliseum for the AEW event. And hey, hope they put on a good show, and of course for them, and hopefully it's nothing that probably will be finishing tomorrow around this time. Hold on, BX. All right, go ahead, give me one more. Punk changed his mind. Laugh out loud. I don't believe anything anymore. Yeah, I don't believe anything with these dirt cheaters. They always get it wrong. I don't believe anything whatsoever. Let me see one more thing before we get going. And I think that's everything, dude. That's everything there. We will see who will be at the pay-per-view tomorrow. Let's see. Nope. Now we got it. I think we got everything there for... Oh, by the way, they found the meat car for the Slim Jim that was in Chicago. So they found the Slim Jim car and, of course, snap into it. So, again, guys, have a good night. We appreciate you there. Of course, keep it going. Let's keep it going. Keep up always the good work. We'll see you next time on the Heel of the Ring. Peace out.
Awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat, I
looking
don't
at
know,
the
my rap, my
youngest
blood
and
boils
fastest
over like.
rising star in
Oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs